And now, live from the Man Cave, Studio B, deep in the heart of constitutional Livingston County, Michigan, on a Tuesday night, Trump's Winning Ways Rant, with tonight's co-hosts, Dean McBride, George Skendi, yours truly, Larry Parsons. This is My Brain. And now, your host, the man that finally got his shit together and forgot where he put it, my good friend, Mr. Jeremy Scott Gibbs.
Shiitake mushrooms. Yeah. Finally got together. So in turning everything on, I forgot that when I went to turn on Larry's mic, I hit the wrong button and it went to. What are you doing?
Oops.
Go back to the man cave. All right.
There we go.
And it went to the split screen of your ass with my banner back here.
Oops.
Yeah, ridiculous. But I had to check the sound and I'm doing all that stuff. So I worked really hard because we've had a few shows that really pissed me off recently with their.
We've been the gremlins, the Rumble gremlins.
I'm like.
From the storm to last week, we had the Rumble gremlins messing with the show, kicking us
ridiculous.
offline.
I got to edit a bunch of stuff and get it out there. But here we are. Here we are, guys. Welcome to the show.
Why does the counter say stop?
Welcome.
Did you see the counter says stop on it?
Oh, I haven't hit the record button.
Oh, okay.
That's the other thing I did. I bought gear.
Yeah.
Wow. Mute that shit.
Oh, sorry.
That was really loud in my ears.
Yeah.
But I went and got a new hard drive, and then I spent 17 hours, not physically doing it, but it took 17 hours to move 2 terabytes of data from the drive that plugs into the ATEM into the other one. And so let's hit the record button there. Now we're recording.
There we go.
Hey.
So that's been one of the things we're doing. So yeah, we've had some gremlins in the system, and it's stupid little things. It's stupid, the audio. And I double checked the audio. Give us a 5x5 out there, guys. Make sure I was not just hearing ghosts on my phone.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, be sure and hit that Rumble. Give us a thumbs up.
Rumble thumb.
Yeah. Give us that
thumb.
Rumble thumb. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Welcome everybody. What we got? People just talking shit in the chat already. I love it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even going to comment on some of this stuff, but yeah, no, it wasn't just. So we recently had the storm kick stuff right in the middle of Ryan Kelly's. I got to grab that, both sections of that, and edit it together.
Yes.
And send that out. And then we had a great interview with Dan McKnight. And then in studio, we had Shane Trejo, and Dennis Marburger. And that was great. And Dean and Larry were behind the scenes on those. And that was a great show. And the first 40 minutes, the audio was gone.
Yeah.
And I literally went over to that computer when people finally got to me, and it was, the audio was on the right microphone, but there's 2 listings of the microphone. It's like one says default microphone, Blackmagic, and the other one says communication device, the Blackmagic, which for those of you out there, I'm not talking about actual Blackmagic. I'm talking about, that's the device over there. That's the name brand of it. It's
Yes.
Blackmagic Resolve.
Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's the problem. Anyways, it's I muted you, Dino. You're good. So anyways, I clicked on that. That was a good half an hour, 35 minutes into the show. And then we just all of a sudden lost connectivity with 40. We sat up here and chatted for another 40 minutes, not realizing that we were off the air. Because what'll happen is that computer over there that you guys are getting the stream from, every once in a while it'll go to a green screen and it'll say, "Oops, something went wrong." But then I look over here at the actual stream out in the interwebs, and it's still working. So it's just that computer that kind of glitches. The one show we had it where the Rumble feed went down, and we were still up on Facebook, Twitch, and the other ones.
To the background?
Yeah, good idea. I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't make sense. I had it all set up.
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever. Welcome to the show, everybody. Good to have you in here. We're going to talk about Trump's winning ways. Continues to kick ass
in the last 24 hours.
We're going to dive into it deep, but we had some pulled barbecue chicken and some chips. I didn't go all out today because I was trying to work out a bunch of bugs.
Well, that was good stuff.
It was good stuff, though. Yeah. Larry picked up the buns.
Yeah.
He brought the buns. Yeah. So let's dive into
Jeremy
this.
called me and or texted me and said,
I said, Larry, pick up your buns.
Pick up some buns. And I said,
Pick up your
blonde or
buns,
brunette?
Larry. He didn't say that, but he wants you to believe he said that.
You don't like redheads?
I love redheads.
Okay, Larry. All right, here we go. And actually, you know what? I did it. I'm gonna click on it, see if it works.
This is my brain. Notice. This show is mostly raw and unfiltered and completely politically incorrect.
Incorrect.
We say Merry Christmas and the Pledge of Allegiance, especially the part about one nation under God. We thank our troops for their service.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We only recognize two genders.
Dangle, no dangle.
If you're not sure, look at your equipment.
But don't show it to us.
Right.
We don't want to see it.
As adults, we enjoy adult beverages. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
And for those of you who are listening, cheers. We cuss,
Cheers.
but we do not curse or swear. We love Jesus, but we hate religion and religious hypocrites. If any of this offends you,
Get out.
goodbye.
Goodbye.
Please leave. We used to be, it was really bad for a while.
Just say
that
perfectly.
was the old one.
It was perfect. It was
Vamonos.
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 Yeah, and religious. That's the old one.
It does say that. You are correct, sir. It does say that.
Yeah. That was nice to hear Grandma Connie's
It was
voice
nice to
again.
hear
We
Grandma.
miss her. We miss
That
Grandma
was
Connie.
the voice of Grandma?
That was Grandma.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why
Incredible.
our super source for some reason is not giving me what I want. But anyways, let's do these other disclaimers real quick. Let's do this one.
She had quite a right hook too.
Larry liked that way too much. George, do you want bears or easier to fool people?
Bears are good for me
All right.
because remind me all the time Kevin Costner
Yeah.
with a movie. Remember?
Which?
It's a show, Yellowstone.
Oh.
And those,
The bear comes out and he fucking
Japanese tourists go out of the bus and
Mm-hmm.
they're thinking the bear is like a toy that they can go over there. It's like,
Bears.
what
Well,
doesn't kill you,
That is a good
make
conservative.
what doesn't kill you make you stronger. Except for bears will kill you.
Bears will fucking kill you. Yes, they will. Bears are bad mother truckers.
It depends if you have those.
You like the dancing bears, we know.
Little puppies that they grow with you. They are very
Very
fun animal to
fun
have.
to hang out with.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to give this one to you, Dino.
To argue with a person who has renounced the use of reason is like administering medicine to the dead.
It's kind of useless.
Thomas Paine.
Yeah.
Kind of useless. New one for you, Larry. I'm going to change it up a little bit tonight.
Okay. All right. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, period. That's the Second Amendment, United States Constitution. It was issued on December 15th, 1791, and it doesn't ever expire.
When does it expire?
Never.
Never?
When everybody's dead.
Pry it from my cold, dead hands.
Correct.
Yes.
Let's see here. I am going to do, I'm going to go back to my favorite, one of my favorites. I have two favorites. I have Mark Twain and Thomas Paine. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to do this one. Click. Thank you. A long habit of not thinking a thing wrong gives it a superficial appearance of being right and raises at first a formidable outcry of custom, in defense of custom. But the tumult soon subsides. Time makes more converts than reason. Thomas Paine, Common Sense, 1776. Very powerful stuff. All
I
right.
like that word, tumult.
Tumult. Yeah.
Mhm.
When you look it up,
Tumult.
It's ruckus.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that means basically ruckus or noise.
Correct.
All right, gentlemen, ready?
Never
apologize and never explain. It's a sign of weakness.
And I think that people out here would do well, if you're watching, to understand that apologies do nothing with these monsters.
Exactly right. Thank you, Mr. Crowder, for that. And we're back to the table shot, and we're doing all right. I don't know why we don't have the correct background for us on the super source. We should have that background, and I'm at a loss as to think why it's not up there, but I'll figure it out during the course of the show, and I will hit a button and it'll work. So there we go. All right, the disclaimers out of the way. Welcome to the show, everybody. Once again, fishery. I didn't say a fishery. We're fighting with China. China is asshole.
Asshole?
China is asshole.
Certainly.
Yeah, George, we tried to get you on last week, and you had to get somebody from the airport or something.
I told you yes,
Mhm.
and in the last moment, my brother-in-law lost his flight from somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
so he had to come and stay one night here,
Okay.
and I took him in the morning in airport again.
Well,
I didn't want to make that trip, but
you were excused, but I mean, I was really disappointed, Bo. I was I'm
sorry,
like,
guys.
oh, where's George? Anyways, I want to give you this. This is our quote for tonight. I got to find it here because I was looking it up on the laptop.
What, the fox?
No, that's so weird, dude. Alex Jones was going off on it today. He's like, this is not real. It's like,
Hey, if they found the DNA and they can turn that
yeah, they're
back,
like,
it's not a big deal, but
yeah, but it's
is
not.
this so important to know that they are bringing some animal from
Yeah.
2 million years ago? Who give a shit?
Who gives
Who
a shit?
gives a shit?
Yeah.
Right. And come to find out, the name that they're using for it, this whatever they call it, what type of wolf, the name's from Game of Thrones. It's not
Mhm.
even like a historical name. It's like,
No.
are you ridiculous?
Made up
people?
crap.
Let me go. I'm going to go with this one. See if this works. That does work, and it zoomed in on me, and I forgot to switch to the. No, I guess I wanted that one. And it's not switching for me. Excellent. That's what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to not switch for me. There we go. Okay, there we go. I can deal with that. All right. The quote for tonight from Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt.
She's
Leave it.
sharp. I love her.
Dude, she's like 27. She's such a badass. Carolyn Levitt, when America is punched, President Trump punches back harder. White House press secretary confirms 104% tariff on China will go into effect at midnight. And we will discuss that a little bit more, but Trump keeps winning. Larry wants to talk about the Supreme Court. We're going to talk about a few other things tonight. We're going to dive right into it.
Midnight. Remind me the movie Midnight Express.
Midnight Express. Sounds good,
That
buddy.
is
Yeah.
Old movie, but it's
It's
really
good stuff. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. Go back to that one.
Yeah, I actually want to talk about both Supreme Courts, both the Supreme Court of the United States and the idiots here in Lansing.
Of course you do. So where do we want to begin on all that and see where we're at, buddy? I've got on my first list here the Supreme Court slapdowns. You want to talk about those? That's another winning. Trump wins. Trump keeps winning.
Yes.
There was two decisions today, correct?
Yeah, there was a couple decisions today. Hold on, didn't realize we were rocketing straight to that.
Well, what do you want to talk about? Toenail clippings?
About the
No.
bitch that
Man
Trump
cave.
Got
put over
plenty of
there
those
and
too.
vote no for him.
But so I would like to talk about this breaking news that nearly 1 million migrants, or let's call them what they are,
Illegals?
Illegal.
nearly 1
Trespassers?
million illegals who have entered the U.S. during the Biden era border app using that have been ordered to leave the country immediately, and Trump is threatening to fine them $1,000 a day, $999.
Yes, and he did the 999 because it falls under the threshold of
Yes.
the $1,000. Yeah.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Yep.
Not only this one, but they said that they are going to confiscate all the belongings
Right.
that they have.
Well, one of the things that SCOTUS did do today
Mhm.
is they ruled in favor of Trump's power to fire thousands of federal employees. So the Democrats got beat again.
Right.
You know, I don't get how they can even do what they're doing at this point. They're just opposing him just to oppose him. They don't have a legal ground to stand on.
Right.
You know, he is the chief executive. He's in charge of the federal bureaucracy. If he wants to fire someone,
Mhm.
he has that authority.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely. Without a doubt, man. That is the way he operates, bro.
yeah, a former Reagan economic advisor
Mhm.
put out a statement today that the world will prosper because of Trump's tariffs.
Absolutely. And
Right.
you know, and I had a conversation with one of my good friends, and he was talking about it, that he's having to make some adjustments in his business because of what's going on. But he didn't really launch into being totally angry with Trump. He just noted that this is causing some short-term difficulty, and I get it, and I completely empathize and sympathize. But George, what's your perspective on
We
some
are
of these?
going through. It's like sometimes has to hit the bottom
Right.
line in order to go up again.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So everybody is suffering that one, but we know that we have to be patient.
Yeah, you can't.
It's just the beginning. They expect Trump in the first 100 days, or how many days is he president now, to just clip his hands, his fingers, and things will turn upside down. And there
Right.
you go. You are in
Yeah, you're all set.
La La Land.
Well, if you want that, go watch Christopher Reeves in one of his first Superman movies.
Right.
You know,
And even he had to fly backwards. And
right, and spin the world
Spin
just
the
to
world just
you
to-
know turn
Yeah.
back time.
Yeah.
A federal judge did issue today a ruling on the White House ban on Associated Press,
Okay.
which they ruled essentially that it's a violation of free speech, and that Associated Press has to be treated like all the other press. If you remember, to give everybody a little bit of history, Trump banned the Associated Press after they refused to call the Gulf of America by its true name.
Correct. And as far as I'm concerned,
But the federal judge fell short of ordering
right.
Trump to allow the AP back into the press room.
Because it's been a precedent since the press was coming in as they have, that it's at the discretion of the White House who's issued press credentials. Otherwise, if anybody could walk in there,
Correct.
you get issued a press credential. So there it is.
Right.
Whatever. Dumb.
Yes, and Judge Boasberg, you know, the idiot from Washington, D.C.,
Yeah.
okay, he got ruled against yesterday,
Okay.
you know, and Trump is allowed to continue to deport criminal illegals under the, was it 1798 Criminal
Criminal Act
Alien
and
Act or whatever they call that. But Judge Boasberg canceled his planned hearing to review Trump deportations because he doesn't.
You got that pulled up over there, Larry?
Yep, the courts did actually rule that Boasberg had no jurisdiction to hear the case, and that the case, if it was to be heard, should be heard in the jurisdiction in which the illegals were caught in, which is Texas.
Okay.
So Boasberg got his little
Knickers in
behind
a
spank.
bunch.
Yes, he did. By the Supreme Court.
I was trying to go to your.
It's all right. It's all right. I was just going over that headline anyway. So there's.
I'm just pushing buttons now, and it's not
Yeah.
working.
It's okay.
So
with
Trump did
those,
get the last laugh there. So,
with
Let's
those
just do that. Let's just do
illegal
Larry Lean.
illegal immigrants that they are sending back to El Salvador.
Lean
We
that
can
way,
put the
Larry.
judge
You gotta
to
lean.
send
Lean
them
that way,
there.
Larry.
huh?
There you go.
This
What?
is
No, just
also-
lean. On camera.
Oh, there we go.
This is us.
Oh, I gotta go this way.
This guy
There we
is.
go.
Did you send me that?
No, I
Send
can
it to me on
it.
Facebook, and we'll go over it.
There you go.
Larry is clean shaven. You are correct, Dale. And it's disturbing at some point. You know what I'm having a problem with over here is that when I push these, so the way the here, I'm gonna go to this one. This is my drink shot, right? Okay, I can't even turn it.
How about this one? I like this headline. A CNN polling analyst
Yeah,
says Trump is more of a soaring eagle than a lame duck.
I saw that one.
Yeah, that's a CNN headline.
Yeah.
From the Communist News Network. And it was funny because I heard Bill Maher today being quoted on several radio stations as I was driving to Grand Rapids, and he was praising Trump.
Mara really likes Trump nowadays.
So,
He's feeling pretty enlightened about that.
yeah. Well, you know, that something we have known about
Still an
Donald
arrogant
Trump,
Mm-hmm.
that we have known for a long time, that Democrats are just starting to admit, they knew it too, they just didn't, is with Donald Trump, you see and hear exactly what you get. There's no,
They can't get him on a hot. They can't get most conservatives on hot mics. True conservatives, because
No.
we're saying the same thing behind the
Mute.
scenes.
that's what we're saying.
Mute.
Yeah, we're like, we're saying the same thing that we've been saying.
Yeah.
brother.
Remember
You know?
the Walter Mondale hot mic minute?
Yeah.
Look at all those people. We're going to tax the shit out of them.
Or they turn all the down moments where, they
Right.
catch all the words in the right sequence and then they edit and cut and then they put all this other crap together.
And just for contrast, I mean, when you're dealing with the Democrats, they sound highly intelligent on or off mic. Let's go back to the former vice president here. Let's
Not a
see.
joke, everybody. That's why we were defeated in 2018 when they tried to do. We went to 54 states.
4 states.
I mean, you can't argue with that kind of logic.
I mean, yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
Joe Biden,
Priceless.
that guy's so dumb he thinks Moby Dick's a venereal disease.
He probably gave it to somebody.
Probably.
These people are crazy.
You see, I got my buttons somewhat back.
Yes, sir.
I like it. And so, Larry, what else is? I know you're going this because obviously,
Okay, you guys aren't privy to all the new shit.
So I mean, you got to give us the new shit. New
Yeah,
shit's
the
come to
new
light,
stuff.
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So, real quick, I just might go a little off, but I have a brother that lives in Australia,
mhm.
right? He's been there for a while. And what's going on over there is what we don't hear,
Mhm.
but they're definitely going on into sanctions of lockdowns and grid work right now. Yeah.
The fake
That's
pandemic.
me talking with him
Right.
over Messenger and him telling me, yeah, we already have like checkpoints where you have to have your vaccine passports and
So George is gonna.
stuff is going on really crazy over there. So a lot of them who are looking over at us in our state in the United States
Yeah.
is they're like, oh yeah, you guys are betas. You guys don't know what you're doing over there. We've got it figured out over here. We're trusting the science. We're trusting. Oh, whoa.
Trusting
We'll see who the
science.
beta is in the end of this.
Right. You're trusting the
Well, I
science.
can tell you something. Last night I came back from Canada from a lady that she was old but maybe she probably should have more chance to live a couple of years more if she didn't take the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And that created an issue with her heart. She never had a problem with the heart.
Correct.
And after the
Heart
vaccine, her
congestion.
heart didn't function, and she passed away 3 days ago.
Oh,
88
that.
years old.
Yeah.
But she never had a problem with her heart.
Right. Correct.
And I have a friend of mine again that in January passed away in Germany, 52 years old.
Wow.
10 centimeter cancer in his lung.
You see it in your eyes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, and they don't care about it. They're just trying to kill us off, and and the reality is, if she would have had a prolonged sickness in Canada, they'd offered her MAID. It's the assisted suicide with the government. Oh, you've got a chronic disease and our healthcare is shit.
Oh, I remember what she said.
We can take you out.
Remember what she said? She goes, you guys have your rights to firearms and things like that with the Second Amendment of the United States. She says, we don't have that here in Australia because we gave up our weapons. He says, even so, that's where the beta came in. And she goes, even though you guys have weapons, we know that you guys probably won't use them because you won't know how to pull the trigger when it comes to your doorstep. And I was like, whoa, this is how you people think.
Who said that?
This is how they think in Australia.
Okay.
About us.
Come and knock in my door and tell me
I
I
understand.
want your children or I want you
That
to
sounds
do
like-
something.
And it was bias.
Yeah, that sounds like they're eating a lot of propaganda.
You know what? Your ego does not live on this soil. All right.
Right.
So
That sounds like they're living in a lot of propaganda coming
It
from
is.
the
Yeah, a lot
mainstream
of
media
push
because
bullshit.
that doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't work.
Australia is another socialist government.
it is.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
Pretty much.
And they're
fucked
a
up.
huge ass island.
Right, Larry. What else you got over there, buddy?
Well,
I'm trying to see if I can't. I don't know
The
why I can't
state
go to
of
your.
Maryland, the Democrats of the state of Maryland are proposing a new bill to put female hygiene products in men's bathrooms across the state.
Did Tim Walz become director over there?
I don't know. He's definitely influencing them.
Females hygiene products
In the
males
men's bathroom.
in male bathroom.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do I need a tampon?
You don't need a tampon, but there might be a dude who walks in there, or a chick that walks in there pretending to be a dude.
Yep. All day.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't have any problems with women using the men's room.
You know, we should have heeded the warning back years ago when Aerosmith clearly told us what was going on when they said, dude looks like a lady.
Bam. Mrs. Doubtfire.
And even before that, we should have gone back and really realized what was being said on Take a Walk on the Wild Side.
Oh, see,
Right?
we're going deep.
Or we could have even gone back further than that, and we could have figured out that we could have figured out that JoJo was a man who thought he was a woman, but he was another man.
Yeah.
Right.
JoJo
Pay
left his home in
attention.
Tucson, Arizona for some California grass.
Wasn't there another one too?
There was another one. It was Lola.
Yes, that's the one I was thinking of.
The line at the end, because Lolo's a man and so am I.
See?
I'm like,
it's like, whoa, we've been chanting this shit the whole time as kids.
Right?
Not knowing.
Not
knowing.
Yeah, I never. Lola gave me my. What was there's a whole lines in there? It's like Lola, la 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 Lola.
Yeah, I remember.
But it's the hook.
I remember.
That's the hook.
Dude.
Yeah, no.
Talking about a dick.
And you know what?
I remember the song.
Oh no!
The crazy thing about that is,
you thought you were talking about a chick.
the crazy thing about that. Why is my thing not working? Lola,
bullshit.
It is some bullshit. The crazy thing about that song is it's based on. I watched a documentary recently about it, and it's based on a dude. One of the band members. I was going to look it up real quick, so I was totally accurate.
Okay.
But it's based on one of the band members having that experience of not the full blown, but where it was a dude. Come to find out it was a dude trying to hook up with him in a bar, and then he realized it was a dude, and it was like, hell no. And then so they wrote the song kind of as a parody type shit. Yeah, they're like,
I always thought it was about a chick.
Yeah, you're like,
In 1984, I was at a bar called Smuggler's Inn in Darmstadt.
Oh, that
Germany.
sounds like a great joint.
Right.
Smugglers Inn.
Smuggler's Inn.
Smuggle them in through the back.
Yeah, it was a great place.
Where was that?
It's
Oh,
in
I'm not doubting it wasn't a great
Darmstadt,
place.
Germany. And I was sitting with my best friend, and at the time, next to me was a girl I was dating. Her name was Susie, and there were some other girls on the other side. And my best friend Mike, sitting across from me, was like trashed. He was like 3 sheets to the wind trashed.
Okay.
Right? Could barely walk to the bathroom and find his
Anything?
ass.
Right.
Or trashed, right? So these 2 girls walk in, right? These 2 blondes, all dressed up, high heels,
Of course.
you know, beautiful skirt,
Hollywood
and
thing.
everything. And I'm ignoring the girls because I'm sitting here with Susie, and we're talking, and the night goes on, and one of them comes up and asks Mike to dance. And as soon as that happens, Susie slaps me on the shoulder, and she's like,
"That's a dude.
That's a he-she." I said, "What?" She said, "That's a he-she." And I looked at her, I said, "What is a he-she?" She said, "You know, that's a guy." I said, "Right there?" She said, "Yeah, I went to high school with him."
Oh, God.
And I'm like, "You're kidding me, right?" So he comes back and we tell Mike, and Mike's like, "Oh, you guys are just trying to rain on my parade because she's pretty." And we're like, "No, dude, you know, that's a dude. You can't."
I had a similar experience.
So, you know, as the night goes on, we're watching them get even drunker than he already was. And finally, he's on the dance floor with her, and he's like, a slow song comes on, and they're slow dancing. He reaches down,
Yeah.
you know, and grabs.
Yeah.
And there's like something there that's not supposed to be there.
Right.
And I watched him sober up like that and beat the living daylights out of that guy.
Oh, come on.
Oh, beat him within an inch of his life, like in an ambulance.
But was that appropriate because he got
absolutely was absolutely appropriate.
That person had a plan, but see, he didn't pick up on what y'all warned him.
Yeah, we did.
So it's his fault.
So partially.
Well, if somebody warned,
he did though, man.
It was
he
his
beat
fault.
The daylights out of that
He
guy.
just cupped it.
He never came back again.
It was his fault.
He never came
at the
back
first
again.
dance.
Yep,
But if
that's not
somebody
supposed to be
warned
there.
you and tells you that he's a dude, don't go anymore with him.
All right, so here it is. Let me make sure I'm on the right browser.
Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Lola is a song. Lola is a song sung by the Kinks, right? And it is written by frontman Ray Davies in their 1970s album Lola versus Power Woman and the Money Ground Part 1. Money Ground Part 1. The song details a romantic encounter in a Soho bar between a young man and Lola, who is possibly a trans woman or crossdresser. In the song, the narrator describes his confusion towards Lola, who walked like a woman but talked like a man. He had remained infatuated with her. And then it gets down. Since the release, there's been a whole bunch of stuff. Anyways, there's a backstory. He claimed that he was inspired to write Lola after the Kinks manager Robert Wace spent a night in Paris dancing with a crossdresser. Davies said the incident in his apartment, Robert had been dancing with this black woman and said, "I'm really into the thing here." And it was okay until we left at 6 a.m. And then I said, "Have you seen the stubble?" And he said, "Yeah, but I was too pissed to care, too drunk to care, I think."
Yeah. Intoxication.
So they offered an alternate. So the drummer offered an alternate explanation. Anyways, this is pretty funny. Hey, there's Vince with my ice. Vincent with my ice. Awesome.
Thanks,
buddy.
Vincent.
Thanks, Vince.
You are the Iceman.
Iceman.
The Iceman cometh.
Noise.
Noise.
All right, so that's a little bit of fun talking about Lola, but we should have listened. We should have paid attention.
Well, the Secretary of State says that now 70 countries have now expressed interest in negotiating tariffs.
Negotiate.
Of course.
Several of them
Of course.
are offering free trade between the countries. No tariffs.
No tariffs. True free trade agreements between the
that's
countries.
right.
Amazing.
Trump said
No
this
tariffs.
is going to be the golden age.
Dude,
Yeah.
amazing what the art of the deal will do.
Yeah. Well, see, all you need is a president with some balls.
He's got balls and big balls.
Yes.
But that guy downstairs is wearing the biggest balls.
The biggest
hat.
balls. Vince got the biggest balls. Yeah, very, very cool. All right, let's. Oh, yeah, that was the other one I was going to mention. Thank you, Dale. Crocodile Dundee. And he goes, oh, and he grabs the dude right in the.
Oh yeah.
He threw the hand up.
Here.
Yeah.
Right here, Dino.
There.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Biggest balls.
Biggest balls.
There you go.
Yeah.
Here, you want
biggest
your hat back there, Vince?
Here, I'll give you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want your shoes too?
Yeah. Show it right there.
Okay.
Biggest balls.
Biggest balls. That's awesome.
Where you at, Vincent?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the entertainment, sir.
And I probably missed.
Apparently,
No, you
Dale
missed.
said that there was a scene in The Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks.
Oh, well,
That makes sense because Tom probably wrote that
Speaking
one.
of Tom Hanks,
Wilson.
don't you remember Bosom Buddies?
Those
Bosom Buddies.
But that was plausible. Two dudes that just wanted cheaper rent, and they just had to dress like women to get to their apartment, but they were total dudes,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
That's hey,
Well,
they say in Hollywood it's a right.
It's the whole Masonic of right.
Yeah.
When you dress, you're basically their puppet. You have to go through a sequence of being humiliated in what they want you to do in order to be a part of their party.
Yeah.
So it's a humiliation scheme, basically, in order to wear the ring.
Yeah. What was the favorite picture by who was it, Epstein or one of those twisted
Many
fucks?
of them.
Yeah, I think Epstein was the one that had a picture of Bill Clinton in the Monica Lewinsky blue dress on his wall. It was his favorite picture.
Yes, correct.
Twisted souls.
Twisted.
Souls. I mean, because you wouldn't want a picture of Hillary on your wall, so
Why?
I guess do Bill.
Holy shit.
You pulled and it popped off. You were all good and it went flying. I got you muted. You're good. All right, so Supreme Court slaps it down. Larry, did you cover that? Trump's winning.
yes.
He's winning on that. I wanted to go to this one. And because we're staying on order, this one right here. Trump is unleashing the power, quite literally. Trump signs executive order further unleashing power, and I had to look up what it was. Trump signed a historic document overturning. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna pull back from that real quick, and I'm gonna go to one of our favorite sites here. Where is it at? Right here.
Oh, that was interesting.
Yeah. So this is Trump zings Joe Biden after he signs executive order to remove Biden's restriction on coal plants. And is this where the zinger is? Right here? I want to make sure that's the zing before I play it.
We have 4 items prepared for your signature this afternoon, sir. The first of these executive orders it may be one of the most significant executive orders of your administration thus far. This directs all departments and agencies of the federal government to end all discriminatory policies against the coal industry. This ends the leasing moratorium that prevents new coal projects on federal land, and it's going to accelerate all permitting and funding for new coal projects to allow the coal industry to flourish under your leadership, sir.
That's great. Thank you.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah, we like that shit. Yeah. Why does the dude directly above him look like an older Joaquin Phoenix?
He does. That's it.
There it is, Donald Trump. You know
Amen.
what? I'll tell you what, out of signatures out there, just in general,
Yeah,
Donald Trump's got one of the best signatures
He does.
I've ever
It's
seen.
a
I
good
agree with
signature.
that.
If you
practiced.
see
And you
it.
notice there was no auto pen.
No auto pen.
Based
Whoops.
on unscientific
This is not what I
and
want to do.
unrealistic
You know what? I'm getting too
policies,
used to all these buttons
enacted
here.
by the Biden administration what we're going to do is essentially impose
a
moratorium on
this
those
is Zinger.
policies taking effect to protect coal plants that are currently operating, to ensure that they're able to continue producing power and continue providing jobs to Americans in the coal industry.
Right. Thank
Too
you.
bad we don't have here in Michigan coal mine.
Yeah.
I worked. Did I tell you guys that I worked mechanically in the coal mine?
I didn't know you worked in the coal mine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think this is where you give the zinger.
If it'll be somewhere else, I'll take in heartbeat because they pay so good.
Sir, you've made grid reliability and security a key focus of this administration. This executive order is going to promote grid security and reliability by ensuring, in part, that our grid policies are focused on secure and effective energy production and energy transmission, as opposed to woke policies that discriminate against secure sources of power like coal and other fossil fuels.
100%. He's got that microphone dialed right in.
I'm paying attention to that guy a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think that
he's biting back. He's look at his hand posture.
Lastly, sir, one of the biggest problems we have in this space is Democrat states, radical leftist states, enacting policies and enacting an agenda that discriminates against coal, against secure sources of energy. Many of these policies are unconstitutional and illegal. And with this executive order, you're going to be instructing your Department of Justice to vigorously pursue and investigate these state policies that we believe are illegal or unconstitutional.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job. He went to Harvard when Harvard was good.
That was good right there.
Well, you know, and that is a very timely comment, because right now Harvard is
a joke.
It has many of their students repeating remedial math programs for an entire year. Which is a complete indictment on the United States education.
Yeah, 100%. What do you want, Dino?
Not to mention the Hollywood take every single time. You know, Beer Fest. You know, all these different titles.
Yeah,
they show these college campuses enraging in alcohol, enraging in sexual immorality, adultery, whatever.
Yep.
It's so horrible to a point where that's where I feel like when he said that is like, yeah, screw the Hollywood's image of what's going on here. Well, he's the $1 million man in Hollywood. I don't care what anybody says.
Dude, they were clamoring for him through the 80s and 90s to do cameos in every movie they could shove him into.
Thank you.
And now they're airbrushing him out of them.
Right.
Out of Home Alone? Fuck off.
Yeah.
Right.
Harvard's remedial.
No comparison to Ric Flair. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Harvard's remedial math course reignites concerns over test optional pandemic policies. Yeah. So apparently kids are coming to college without knowing basic math.
Oh, you mean the school system we spend more than most other developed countries combined on from the federal government?
Oh, yeah, because they're focusing on transgender
on
studies.
DEI and other bullshit.
Yeah. Yep, Harvard requiring freshmen to take remedial math. So if you go to my computer, does it get the sound too?
I just tried to figure out why it wasn't switching over to you.
Yeah.
And I just figured out why it wasn't switching over to you. I'm like, why am I not able to switch over to Larry? Because the Ethernet cord controlling it was slightly unplugged underneath there. So yes, I will go to you, Larry. You want to go to your
if I play
Larry on the table laptop. This should be it. right there, and it still didn't go to you.
It still didn't go to me, huh?
No, you know what?
What?
The OBS is not. I'll try to fix that later. Let's just go to, you can, I want to go to your laptop. Damn it. Because that would be this one, and it's all black. So it's because of the play out of it. All right, we're just going to go to Railside, Larry, and you're going to have to read it.
That's okay. I was going to play a little video for everybody.
Okay, the way that would work is OBS. Here's what happened. Here's what happened for the listening audience. And here's what typically happens on a lot of stuff on the show. I opened up OBS to make sure you were all set over there so you could share news, stuff like that.
Yeah.
OBS had a update.
Oh.
And I clicked on the update and then forgot to relaunch OBS. So do you see OBS in the bottom taskbar there?
Is that the red one? The heart. OBS. Well, I don't know.
It should be a little circle.
OBS.
Yep.
Yes.
Click and open that.
Click and open it.
Yep.
Okay. It's open.
Okay. Do you see your browser in there? In the OBS window itself, do you see the tab that says browser?
I do not. Properties, filters.
No, just the main screen you're looking at. Here, give it here. That's why.
Yeah.
Open it up in the Brave browser.
In the Brave browser?
Yep. Yeah, open the Brave browser. This is some of the things we deal with. This is why you don't have a big screen on back behind us, and this is behind them on the wall like I normally do. This is why I ended up with one of the squeaky chairs that I tried to pull out of circulation, because it does this while I'm sitting here. Makes squeaky noises.
You want me to open OBS from the Brave?
No, I want you to open the Brave browser, and it should pop up in OBS.
Oh.
Go ahead, Dino.
Them old windmills. You'd be sitting out on your grandpa or your grandma's porch in the backside.
And then hit that one spot. Wink. Oh, yeah, when the wind would be oscillating it. Did you have stuff like that, Georgie, when you were back in the homeland?
A lot of silence, a lot of time.
What do you
The
mean?
old windmills like that. The old wind, like we had in the western.
Tin windmills.
Oh, no. We had mills that were being run by water.
You had a lot of water.
So
Okay.
wood.
No, the water. Yeah, the wooden. Were they the big wooden wheels, paddle wheels?
No, there were stone wheels.
Stone. Okay.
Stone wheels to grind, but the wheels that will take the rotation.
Was that made out of wood?
They were made of the wood.
Yeah, with the big paddles and the river flowing through
Correct.
it. Yeah, those are good. What do you got, Larry? Did you figure it out, buddy?
It's showing up, but yeah.
You know what, Larry?
It says Brave browser. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
What?
Can you see it in the Brave browser now?
Yes, I see it down here under scenes.
Yes. Do you see it? But do you see the picture in your?
I do not. Nope.
What's the video you want to play? Since I tried to fix it.
Yeah. Well, it was just the lady being interviewed about Harvard's remedial math course.
Okay. Where's that under?
That's a Fox News story.
Oh, you're making me type in Fox News in my browser over here.
666.
Oh my God. Fox News. What? Harvard?
Yep. Let's see what shows
Now they're going to
up
send me 15. Is this it?
Yeah,
Risk
Harvard.
of losing.
No, that's
How about
Harvard remedial math course reignites concerns. What if I send you this? Well, I don't have a way to do that either.
Yeah. Remedial math classes raises questions about it. This chick right here, Larry?
Yep.
Okay. Let me, all right, let's try it and see what we get over here on my stuff.
New York public schools are refusing to comply with the White House order to do away with DEI in the classroom, putting their federal funding in jeopardy. In a letter
We'll let
to
this
the
play and you
Education
guys talk
Department,
over it while I try
an
to fix a
attorney
couple
for
things.
The New York
Sure.
Department of Education writes, We understand that the current administration seeks to censor anything it deems diversity, equity, and inclusion, but there are no federal or state laws prohibiting the principles of DEI. Nikki Neely is the founder of Parents Defending Education, and she joins me now. So, Nikki, if I'm getting this right, the state of New York doesn't think an executive order is something that they have to follow. Seems like a pretty risky strategy with billions of federal dollars at stake.
Absolutely. I mean, this is not surprising, of course. We're seeing yet another blue district try and resist President Trump's orders. But remember, from day one, we have seen professional associations across the country urge their members, be they universities, be they school districts, to oppose and disobey the administration's guidance. And so it's no surprise that these progressive districts are trying to pretend that they're martyrs and also pretend that they are champions of democracy while sending a clear message to students that you just don't have to follow laws that you don't like.
In the end, isn't it the kids that always lose out in these battles?
Absolutely. I mean, let's think of New York State, where there have been girls, obviously, that have lost their locker rooms, that have been losing medals and losing their place in the podium. So parents are angry because these administrators are sacrificing girls' privacy and safety on this altar of political ideology. Executive orders are a roadmap, and this is the president's agenda. And I think what's very clear is that the Department of Justice and the Department of Education have prioritized enforcement of these things. And I mean, between you and me, Attorney General Bondi and Secretary McMahon are not two women that I would want to mess with. But if that is what New York State thinks it has to do, I mean, I wish them good luck.
Finally, as a Dartmouth guy, I love the story because we get to thumb our nose at Harvard, which we rarely get to do, but here we do. Harvard has become the first Ivy League university to teach freshmen a full year of remedial math. I said that accurately. Remedial math at Harvard. An op-ed slamming the class, writing administrators brought this mess on themselves by scrapping standardized testing requirements during the pandemic, all in the name of equity. Nikki, if I'm putting together a case against equity as a lawyer, this Harvard story is literally Exhibit 1A.
Yes. I mean, we were told by people like Ibram Kendi that standardized testing was racist. Funny enough, a study by Harvard economists actually showed that standardized testing was a great way for students from underprivileged districts to actually show that they were worthy of entrance. But let's run the numbers. Tuition and fees alone at Harvard are $54,000 a year. This is a full year course. And so this is a quarter of a student's course load for their freshman year. That breaks down to being about $13,000 just in tuition alone for something that students should have learned in high school. As a parent, if I had to pay for my kid to do that, I would be livid.
My classes in math were so tough that I decided I could not do math at the Ivy League level, so that's why I'm here with you this morning. And I think it's important that you have that weeding out process because the people that do math at these schools oftentimes go on to become
remedial
your
math
doctors,
because
your
the
accountants.
high schools are fucked
Make
up
sure that
and
they can
nobody
do math.
teaches them.
I think that's important for those future professions. Nikki
Nobody,
Neely, thank you
it's like
for
in the
joining us
old
this morning.
days that you finish high school and you're ready for college.
Yeah, but they're not
And
going to
now
do that.
the college, they see between high school and college a big gap in math or science, and this is where they have to start from the beginning when they go.
No, but you're forgetting that they're studying important things like transgender.
Distracting.
Oh,
of course. Yeah. Transgenders.
Distraction.
Distractions.
You know, they've got to revert all those resources to make sure that they have tampons in the men's room.
Okay, so it's emotional learning.
Yes.
If you have emotion with learning, that's get the fuck out
what a
of there.
man's going to do with a tampon, I don't know. Maybe if they get a bloody nose.
Maybe. Well, now, wait. Are we talking? Wait, it said. All right, guys. Now we made the assumption. We made the assumption that it was tampons.
Right.
I think Georgie weighed in and made the assumption it was tampons.
Silicone dildos?
No, it said feminine products.
Yes.
Oh.
They do teach in the Army that one of the best things you can have on you
Tampax?
is a pad, a menstrual pad, because if you were to sustain any type of laceration to the face, like pretending to be a different gender and somebody punches you in the face and you're bleeding profusely, you would want to go and grab a feminine hygiene pad to put on there and stem the blood flow from your gaping hole in your face from pretending to be something you're not.
Right.
Except it was a hot dog.
right? I mean, going back to a non-Lola situation, more of a situation like Larry's friend endured there, who punched out somebody. Not a Lola situation where it was like I was too drunk to really realize that was not a good idea to hang out with a dude pretending to be a chick. I mean, I'm just saying there could be a legitimate reason to have a maxi pad in a men's locker room or a bathroom because you might get bitch slapped for pretending to be a woman. And you might be bleeding profusely about the face and need a maxi pad to stem the flow of blood.
Well, if that door symbol doesn't have a dress on it, and you just happen to show up inside of there, there ain't no cameras in those public bathrooms.
Well, I know one thing. If I ever get framed for a crime and have to go to federal prison, I'm gonna bring a skirt to the sentencing.
Of course.
Tell the judge I'm a girl.
Well,
yeah. What are they doing outside? Do you guys hear them? They're beating on something out there.
They're jamming.
Dude, come on. I'm trying to do a show. Nobody, and the funny thing is, nobody out there in the audience is hearing it.
Yeah.
I'm just drawing attention to it because it's bugging me.
Because it's bugging you.
Is anybody else hearing the knocking? What the hell's? Where's that coming from? All right, so Georgie, we want to get into the new pandemic stuff. Did you send me that one?
Yeah.
All right.
There's not much to explain over there. That
is this it?
Yeah. The second picture.
This one?
Yeah.
All right, let's deal with this one right here. The next pandemic strike. Why didn't you switch? Thank you. Everything's going slow or not working. Governments must invest in a response to a global contagion, the World Health Organization has suggested.
COVID-20.
This is COVID. Let's see. These are people wearing masks. This is a photo from 2021, but this is a new thing, George?
Yeah.
So what do you this is and this is
from RT.
From RT. Okay. So what are you hearing, George? You want to fill us in on what you're hearing?
I'm hearing, that this is what I'm hearing, and what I was listening over there, that now that Trump is putting everything in the right way, they are going to push back. And one of the most strongest point of the pushing back is like they did the first time when Trump, at the end of Trump's era, the first time that they dropped the virus and the pandemic start. And it went so far. If you remember, even Trump was saying the Chinese virus. One of those liberal ladies that we interviewed, and Trump said, why you call Chinese virus?
Because it comes from
China.
It's
from China.
Holy Lord.
Jeez, I felt that.
We talked about have a warning on that one.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
We talked about China virus and Larry's face exploded over there, all over Dino. There's the paper towels.
That's China.
Because it's coming from
paper
China.
towels coming from China.
Man. It's so good.
Sorry about that.
Didn't mean to blow
I don't
my face
believe
up on
in
you.
all that germ theory shit. Anyways,
so it's like I just sitting here and all of a sudden sneeze. I couldn't even mute my mic.
There was another one
for Trump that with the tariffs, Trump.
There was one I was looking.
$500
million, but
we can go to that. I want to finish up with this.
Trump's the smart one. He actually hasn't lost anything because he hasn't sold. See, all these people that are acting on emotions and running and hiding, just sit it out. Trump's going to win this.
Right.
China has no choice. I mean, right now they're trying to play like they're a big dog, but the facts are that there's a trade deficit between the USA and China, 5-1. 5-1. China takes 1/5 of the products from the United States that we take from them.
Right. And it's usually grains and a few other things. And we take all their plastic shit, their junk toys.
we're gonna crumble. They're gonna crumble. We're gonna, you know, they're 5 times.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, if that's, I mean, if you, it's like, and what Trump put out was he says, hey, the first people that come to me wanting to cut a deal are going to get the best deals. If you're the last one to the table, you're getting the worst deal.
Right.
And even Europe told him that lady von der Leyen, she told, I was reading today, and she said, we are ready to go no tariffs in both sides.
That's the way it should be. It should be there. That's what free trade is. If you don't, you know, if you really want free trade, then you come to us. And, you know, Trump's tariff for tariff is brilliant. But I mean, we should have done this 60 years ago.
Trump's showing us that we don't eat at table with dogs. Period. We don't eat at table with dogs. Dogs belong underneath the table where they eat scraps.
Yeah.
And he's showing that right now.
Yeah.
Now, this is absolutely a crown situation where I have to take control.
Correct.
And can you imagine what will happen in China?
Yeah.
If they have to pay those high tariffs, how much automotive businesses in China, all the automotive companies are going to say, fuck it, we don't care. We don't care about China, we care about our money. They are going to bring this.
What do I care about China?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here, going back to the jab stuff, I want to continue on that, and then we'll get into more of the. Okay. Larry, go to wall feed. Going to wall feed. There we go. Everyone knows someone harmed by the jabs, John Rich revealed when he convinced Trump to stop praising the COVID jabs. So this is the dynamic here, is that John Rich, musician, country musician, President Donald Trump was informed that the people were booing him at the rallies over the COVID vaccines because Americans were angry by the harm and deaths caused by the jabs. Country music star turned conservative commentator John Rich revealed. We'll play a little bit of this clip here, and this is him recently on a podcast.
We're sitting there, and everybody's eating their food, and President Trump is not president at this time, and he's talking to the senators. He's talking about really important stuff, and I'm just minding my own business, going, I don't know how I got in this room. Well, okay. I'm sitting elbow to elbow with him. It's about an hour into dinner. I hadn't said a word, just been listening, and Trump gets through eating, and you've seen him do this move right here. Yeah. Wherever in the big boardroom, he does this. Okay, that's what he does. He goes, can I ask you a question, John Rich? He never calls me John. John Rich? I look at him and I go, yes, sir. What's the question? He goes, well, you do a lot of big shows. Like, you're an entertainer? Yes, sir. You play for really big crowds? I go, I do. I play for really big crowds for a long time. He goes, well, have you seen these rallies I'm doing? Like, it's 30, 40,000 people. I said, yeah, it's unbelievable. He goes, so here's the question. Why are people booing me at my rallies when I bring up the vaccine? This is the question from the President of the United States. A guy who is very proud at that moment of the fact that he was able to stomp the gas pedal and get that thing out because he's under the impression this is going to fix the problem.
Operation Warp Speed.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a guy who, to his own admission, one of the biggest egos on the earth.
Yeah.
And he's very proud of this. And I respect him there is no limit.
Right.
But I'm being asked a very direct question. And so, man, I looked at him and I said, okay, I'm going to tell you the answer and you're not going to like it. He goes, okay, what's the answer? And look at me like this.
On that pose.
I said, let me start off by saying this. We, the American people, do not trust the people that you were forced to trust at the time when this was happening.
That's a great way to state that.
And I said, by the people we don't trust, here's who I mean. The FDA, the CDC, the NIH, the WHO, Fauci, and all the rest of them. I said, Mr. President, we consider them to be a bunch of murderous, depopulationist psychopaths.
Wow.
And his reaction.
His eyes are...
He leaned back.
He goes,
what?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
He's stunned. No, he is stunned that I said that. I said, now, let me tell you why they're booing you. I said, because all of them, including me, I said, I would boo you. I would boo you.
Did you really say that?
I would boo you.
Really?
If you brought that up, and here's why. And he's looking at me, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the last time this guy's going to invite me to anything. He's never going to call me again. I'm throwing massive shade on a former president's, in his mind, one of his biggest accomplishments. And it dawned on me, nobody had told the man what I was telling him right now, because they all work for him. They all got something to gain from him. They're not going to tell him this because they're not serving him well. I don't work for him. And I think a lot of him, and I want him to understand the truth about it. So I said, here's the problem. Here's why they're booing you, Mr. President, because every human being out in that rally, either themselves or they know someone directly who has been harmed by the vaccine or has even died from it, including me. I said, I got members of my own family who were forced to take it against their will to keep their jobs, and now they've got all kinds of problems. Big problems, heart problems, lung problems. And he's looking at me, and he looks around the table and he goes, this is unbelievable. I mean, he goes, has anyone else heard this?
And they all start nodding.
Herschel Walker, he was running for Senate at the time. He goes, Mr. President, I mean, down in Georgia, my constituents come up at my rallies, and what John just said, man, I hear it every single day. Looks over at Marcia. Marcia's sitting there going, looks around the table, and then Lindsey Graham, who's sitting across. So you're here.
Little Lindsey Graham.
I'm sorry, but you're Lindsey Graham. Sorry.
Lindsey, everybody.
You're Lindsey Graham, and you're okay. As I'm going into the part where I said, even in my own family, I have Lindsey Graham busts in with it, swishing his Chardonnay around and said, Mr. President, if you listen to conspiracy theorists like John Rich, the Democrats are going to take credit for what you did, and they're going to beat you in the next election with it.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
and
what a threat.
So I'm looking at Trump.
Lindsey,
he's sitting over there, and he does that,
Graham.
and I looked at him and I said, do not interrupt me when I'm speaking. Do you understand me? What? And he looked at me and he goes, well, I didn't mean to disrespect you. I go, yeah, but you did.
Yeah, but you did.
So
shut the fuck up.
Right now, you look like Wyatt Earp.
Trump is right here. You're Lindsey Graham, okay? I'm holding him.
Oh, good. Yeah, you're Lindsey Graham.
I'll get back up as the president. I look at him one more time. I go, now let me finish what I was saying.
Oh, man.
And then I finished it. Okay. Trump ended that by saying, so I guess no more vaccine talk. I said, I think that's a good idea. I said, I think you're going to learn a lot about it. But yes, I think that's a good idea because that's the only thing that would make us ever boo you, Mr. President.
Yeah, because you're right. I mean, that's one of the things that I think a lot of people didn't agree with him on, and it was the vaccine and him being proud of it. And Jason actually has a story that's similar to that.
Well, the thing about Trump and the vaccine, Trump never mandated the vaccine.
No, exactly.
Trump said, you're all the doctors, go figure out how to make this stop.
We need to make this available.
And he trusted these people that we now all know are a bunch of depopulationist animals. We all know that now, but he never mandated it because mandating an experimental medical procedure violates the Nuremberg Code. It's a crime against humanity, which I hope we see that play out because people need to be held accountable for that in a major way.
Or worse?
I think it will.
Yeah.
So that was the story there. So, again, he has called me since then. He does text me back from the Super Bowl. He has invited me to, so I did not lose my friendship with him. I think if anything, based on a couple of things he's asked me over the last year or so, he probably appreciates the fact that I'll say something to him that he don't really want to hear that.
That's huge, dude.
Amen.
That's huge. That's absolutely huge.
That is our prophet today that the Lord spoke about when he would speak to the fucking ear bomb, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're right.
But he would speak to the ears of the leaders of the country. He would use prophets, and that plays out so well.
Yeah.
Oh, amen.
Yeah, that's huge. There's more on this. Obviously, that link, Infowars.com, you can go on there. But yeah, John Rich was the one that told him to back off this stuff. Why? And it's amazing. Here's the thing I love about Trump too is that he did ask. You know, he looks over, just the way he described it. Puts his arms up, looks over and goes, "Why are people booing me at my rallies?"
All his mannerisms.
And he goes, "You know, Mr. President, I just got to be honest with you. Stop talking about the thing that's hurting a whole bunch of people and thinking that it was a good thing. It wasn't a good thing. We all know here at this table, you know, and the more people I meet, we met a gentleman today that come and hang out with us in the man cave, drummer. And he's like, I didn't get one of those things. Talked about, he's like, this is how I went around that whole thing because he was in a job position where, you know, essential. They wanted him, well, he's an essential thing, but they also were demanding that he show his papers, comrade. So make sure that he was all fully vaccinated. You have to show your papers.
What was his answer?
He's like, then I'll go get fake papers and fuck you.
From Puerto Rico. My name is Jim.
He's like, I've got really good guy from some other place that does nice printing on my paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I ask for my papers, I go, here you go, comrades.
So, yeah,
suck it.
These are the kind of people we are.
Did you hear that? A couple of weeks ago, one of the vice president's relative was in hospital for a heart transplantation. And the surgery didn't happen or it was postponed because he wasn't COVID vaccinated.
I remember that.
It's like, what?
No, you're exactly right. It's ridiculous. And I think, didn't JD come out and rip, I mean, like, go off on that shit? You know, we fought in this country.
Amen.
For the right. In fact, I'm trying to remember it. Maybe I'll look it up here real quick. But there was a time when you would be turned away to hospital for being black.
Segregation.
And they fought that you can't refuse to treat somebody. It's against your Hippocratic oath.
Yeah.
And now they have changed that whole Hippocratic oath in the medical community to where it's not do no harm, it's do whatever profits us the most. And what's crazy to me is they won't do a heart surgery, that heart transplant on JD Vance's cousin or whoever it was, family member, when they would get huge money from that. And yet because they're getting more money from the pharmaceutical companies that made record profits during the lockdowns. This is the amazing thing. Think about this. Just think about this out there. And we got deplatformed a couple times on YouTube for talking about the election and talking about the jab. So I don't give a fuck anymore. Here, think about this. Two things. Okay. And you cannot, when you think of cognitive dissonance, all right, that's playing two notes on an instrument that don't match, that don't go together.
But it's an awesome accidental.
Okay. Cognitive dissonance. Right. They don't mesh. Are you going to be all right over there, Larry? You swallowed wrong. I saw you, buddy. But you got cognitive dissonance, right? Meaning you can't hold two contrary thoughts in your mind at the same time and be sane. During the lockdown, the pandemic, which was so horrible that we had to exclude all screenings, all elective surgeries. We had to stop all this other stuff, right? Everything. Because there was so many people that were sick that we had to keep the hospital floors open, right? Here's two main things. I won't even mention, well, I will mention the TikTok videos of nurses and staff just dancing around because they had that much time to do it. Yeah. But here's two things. Record profits from the pharmaceutical companies and who was paying them, because the jabs were free, right? Free to you, but you're going to pay for it in your taxes. And the pharmaceutical companies were getting paid by the government. So the pharmaceutical companies made record profits, and yet multiple hospitals throughout the country went bankrupt.
Imagine that.
How is that possible? Those are two contrary thoughts. How can the pharmaceutical company make record profits, supposedly treating people, and simultaneously have
separate entity,
the hospitals going bankrupt?
Because they went underneath the vaccine names. They went under Pfizer, and they went underneath Johnson & Johnson and such. So they used a separate entity away from the medical idea of hospitals.
Well, you got hospitals
So
are individual,
bankrupted
and
hospitals
hospitals are
to
not.
support the vaccine itself.
They said that we had all these people who were sick, and come to find out, you had empty. They had expose people walking in with their cell phones to COVID floors. People where everybody was sick, and there's nobody there.
Right.
And the rest of the hospital's empty because they canceled all the elective surgeries, where elective screenings and all the other stuff that actually make the hospitals money. And so their emergency floor is empty, their COVID floor is empty.
Yep.
And the people that they did bring in, they made what was it, 19,000 if they declared them to have COVID, and then if they blew their lungs out, or 13,000 if they blew their lungs out with a ventilator, they got another 56. And if they died. Do you know the dirty little secret out there? We learned this the other day, Dino.
Yes, sir.
I got it on good information that when somebody goes in for chemo, and I just dealt with my mom and her passing, she went through chemo. You know, the doctors personally make about 20 grand off each bag of fucking chemo that they give their patients.
Yep. Disgusting.
It's a money-making scam. You know, exactly right, George. Fuck off.
For a physician or family doctor at the COVID time, if they tell you come and they will give you a shot or COVID, every shot they give to the people, they got $200 for every shot that they got.
Right, so they're pushing shots.
Yeah.
100%. And did you know this? One of the reasons that they like to get you in the ambulance and get you to the hospital and try to keep you and do everything to keep you alive, even though
because you pay for
many
that.
times it's clearly they're not alive. It's because when you die in the hospital makes money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you die at home and you die in the ambulance, the hospital doesn't make that kind of money.
Right. They got to get you to their house.
They got to get you in the door and declare you there. He was declared dead. You've heard it in the news, and we miss it. You've heard it where they say he was declared. They got him to the hospital where he was pronounced dead.
Yeah.
Of COVID.
Nothing after that. Just he got there and he.
But he was already dead. Yeah, but we declared him at the hospital. Why? Because they make money.
Right.
COVID.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is your mic back up?
Yeah. It is a case going on right now with a hospital in Spain where
you hear anything?
a sister took her brother because he was having fever, was the COVID time. She took him over there in the morning, in the afternoon. The doctors came and told her that he died. Okay. So they took the body. And they took the body back home. And they want to do autopsy again.
Yep.
His heart was missing.
Huh.
Really?
Harvesting.
His heart was missing.
Harvesting.
So they pushed the hospital. And at the beginning they declined. And after they said that, okay, we found his heart. This is his heart. And they took the heart, they're pushing, they did a DNA test, and that wasn't his heart. And now it's a
wow.
Yeah. Now it's a fight going between the hospital in Spain and the family lawyer from Albania, but they are saying that it's going to be very tough to make them pay you money.
Right.
Wow. And that's the shit that we're dealing with. Go ahead, Dino.
Yeah, real quick. I listened to another guy, and I'm sorry I don't have his name, but an MD definitely did some research.
Mm-hmm.
And what he did is he started paying attention to all the organ donors and how organs were going into other bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And what he found out is that when you change out in the reasons that in the harvesting into implanting into another human being, is that you'll notice they're going to have to be on medication for the rest of their life because that DNA pattern and that organ does not belong to that human being.
Right.
So you are subject to having to take medication for the rest of your life in order for it to
Anti-rejection.
activate. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anti-rejection medication.
Anti-rejection medication.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but you're exactly right. And I am how do I say it? I am part of a group called Longevity, It is a multi-level marketing structure of a group, but it is not a scam like a lot of them are. And what they do is they sell really good supplements, right? One of the supplements I still take to this day is called Tangy Tangerine. It's 90 essential vitamins and minerals in a powder. You put it, I dump it into my my Gatorade, electrolyte Gatorade, and I shake it up in there. Okay. It's phenomenal. There's a whole bunch of other supplements that I take in there.
Is it kind of like Tang? Do you remember Tang?
It does have, yeah, they call it Tangy Tangerine for a reason. They're kind of playing off that. But anyways, the doctor in there, and I'll try to look him up as I'm talking, Dr. Joel Wallach, he wrote a book called Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And Dr. Joel Wallach.
You're not typing in it. Okay.
It should be doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. You're good, Dean. There it is, Dr. Wallach. And so Dr. Wallach started this because he was in the veterinarian, and I'll just give you guys this, see this in here. But he was in the veterinarian. That's what he was first, as a vet doctor. And he grew up on a farm. And he said to his dad one day, he said, why do we give the animals all these different antibiotics and take care of them and do this other stuff when we don't do it ourselves? And he didn't understand it. And so what ended up happening was Dr. Wallach eventually went into the medical community, into regular MD, and he went in as a pathologist. And he said, out of 30,000, I believe it was kidneys. So they would do these kidney transplants.
Mm-hmm.
They would take the quote unquote bad kidney out.
Mm-hmm.
They would send it to him, and he would go through and examine the kidney. And he said, out of 30,000 plus kidneys that he examined, not a single one was bad. And what he found out was it wasn't the kidneys, it was the other mechanisms in the body that were causing the kidneys not to function properly.
Rejection.
And so he went, no, not the original kidney. The lines,
The body.
Yeah, the body.
Reject the
correct.
organ.
And he says these kidneys are not bad. It's the supply lines, it's the everything else that's going on with them that's causing them not to function properly, but the kidney itself is not bad. And so he went down this study and found out all of these things. He's one of the only doctors to ever sue the FDA and win, I think 6 times. And he wrote the book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And he claimed in there that out of all major professions, the ones that die youngest is the medical profession. Now, why would you take health advice from a group that has the lowest rating on their own health? And they sued him for that book. Because he wrote in the book that the average doctor dies at 56 years old. They sued him and said it's actually 54. And he gladly conceded the point that he was giving them 2 years. But that's Dr. Joe Wallach. If you guys ever want to look him up, you can read that. But he talks about it in his book. There's the longevity products I was telling you guys about. In fact, if I open that up, let's see if I open that up in a new tab. Okay, so there it is. Larry, you looking? There's the Tangy Tangerine.
Ah.
All right. This one right here is called, those are Tangy Tangerine individual packets. This one right here is called Pollen Burst. It was phenomenal for allergies. I've since switched over to Alex Jones, and they do Pollen Block, which is the quail eggs. Rebound is awesome. In fact, there was one athlete that was the main sponsor on that he was done. His NBA career was over. And they developed this specific all natural supplement. He took it, went back and played another 5 years. I can't remember who the guy was. You know what? I'm going to look that up while I'm talking about it. But anyway, so this is the type of stuff that we don't always get into on the show, but I want to start getting into a lot more of that on the show, because it's important to do these dives into these things and not just focus. Politics, we've got to focus on it because it's part of where we live. But I also want to, talk about these other things. And so when you mentioned that,
Sorry, I didn't mean that.
no, but you said that rebound, you talked about the, what sparked that?
Well, it started with, our jabs and such, but then it went into the harvesting.
The organs,
heart
yes, the heart organ, and bringing up bringing up JD Vance's. And like I said, I was most intrigued about Dr. Joe Wallach and the dynamic of the kidneys. He did, 30,000 kidneys that were removed that were supposedly bad, and through his biopsy, he's like, these aren't bad. So what's going on in the body? And that took him down a different path of dealing with, those other areas. And I'm gonna look up rebound supplement.
I have a friend of mine at work, and she is a lady with really great heart.
Okay.
She donated one of the kidneys, of her kidneys,
okay,
to a guy that he goes in college, that if he couldn't find a donator, he was going to die.
Okay.
And she is still not at work because she has to recover. And one issue with the young guy is because the body of the young people doesn't develop the antibodies that fight viruses and all of this.
Yep.
And they thought that even if she'll give to him, his body might reject it.
Right.
But so far everything is good, and she didn't know that kid.
Okay.
She was just reading, and the kid needs she is very strong. She believes strong in God and Bible.
Yeah.
And she give to somebody that she doesn't know a chance to live.
Okay. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just
No.
Theo Ratliff. I found it. All right. Here it is. I'm going to go back to this. So Theo Ratliff was the athlete, and I want to see if his story's on here. Endorsed by NBA All-Star Theo Ratliff, high energy sports drink, gives you quick, sustainable energy. Indulge the luscious taste of the tropic. They got different tastes. Anyways, Dr. Wallach is proud to announce the exciting addition of NBA star Theo Ratliff of the longevity team. Atlanta Hawks center and 2001 NBA All-Star has entered a 10-year contract to do this. But they talk about his story where this was something that he was really struggling, and I think he either retired or was about to retire, and then started taking this and came back stronger than ever. So just pointing that out. All right. Did you guys? Larry went. Dino went. George, do you need to go? We're not going to go to a break tonight. We're just going to keep plowing through.
Okay, here you have it.
Georgie, you sending us? Oops, I should switch back to us on our screen.
You have the story.
What's that one? Did you send me that on Facebook?
The lady that donated her kidney for that guy.
Oh, all right. Is that? Did you send it to me here?
Is that local?
Is that the YouTube one?
I'll send you.
Oh, you sent it to me.
No, I have a couple of things that
we can go to these couple other ones before we go to Larry's lightning round.
We can talk about. And
do what?
The WHO that he wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we did that one.
We didn't touch
the next pandemic.
The Klaus Schwab
No, the idea with the WHO was that they're announcing a new pandemic that's coming.
I send you, and this is the
that
guy.
we all understand is Sears, right? Or is it underneath a different name?
The actual fake
as far as
disease.
This crap.
Yeah, it's garbage. So here it is that Georgia sent me. The MSU student desperately needs a kidney. Spartan mom steps up. So there's a slight connection, but they had no familial or otherwise relationship. In November, Michigan State University junior Liam Clegg went public about his sudden and unexpected banner with end-stage kidney failure. 20-year-old. I want to know if he was jabbed. Was stricken after fall classes began, and he initially thought it was about a flu. It was much more serious. He shared a story with the Lansing Journal.
Sedated him and probably jabbed him.
It would probably jabbed him.
You have other months of effort.
Yeah, after months of effort trying to find a kidney donor, including Facebook and Instagram. Finally, he met Michelle Dorr. Is that the Doer? I don't know.
Where are you at? That's Door.
Mm-hmm. News of his illness didn't have to travel far. She lives less than 3 miles from his home in Bloomfield Hills, although the pair were strangers. And so she donates.
And this is the lady on the corner.
Right here?
Yeah, she's the donor.
God bless her heart.
Yeah.
She is a manager at the Stellantis.
Oh, so you know her personally?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought it was local.
Yeah. So that's awesome. But yeah, those are good stories.
That's good.
Yeah.
There's actual evidence of what.
Yeah, there's some good stuff out there. There's some good stuff.
Well, there's a lot of things like this. You'll see or you'll read. This or that. So people can. It's clickbait, but this isn't clickbait.
This isn't clickbait. This is good stuff. George, give us your thoughts on foreign theaters. What do you see going on? You listen to RT on a regular basis. You can understand multiple languages. You're
Putin invited a lot of heads of government from different countries for May 9th. That is 80 years of victory over Nazi.
Okay.
From the friendly governments. He said all of us that are invited are from the friendly government, and one of them that is a pretty big power in the world economy is India, and the Indian guy, prime minister, is going to go over there.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I didn't read that in our U.S. News is that the United States approved $1 trillion for the defense budget.
Okay.
That is huge.
Mm-hmm.
That is huge. And another thing that I hope that things are going to settle down pretty soon is another talk between USA and Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be for sure for Ukraine. And it's going to be in Istanbul.
Istanbul. Yeah. Okay.
So
I'm scrolling through RT just to see if I see a couple of things you're looking at. I need to add them to my list up here.
Here's that $1 trillion. Pentagon chief is first. I can see very well. So I have to go to change my glasses.
Where are you looking at? Right
on
there?
The left, like the Pentagon.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay. Well, let's go to that one. I clicked on it. Come on, clicker. Work. All right. Discuss this one for us, George. Give us that one. Donald Trump announces a record. Go away. I'm not. Announces a record boost in military spending on Monday. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has pledged to boost the U.S. military's lethality with President Trump's upcoming record $1 trillion defense budget. Trump announced the unprecedented defense funding bill in meeting alongside Israeli Prime Minister and soon-to-be criminal, as soon as they can end the war over there, Benjamin Netanyahu, who was under indictment before he allowed October 7th to happen. While the current administration is very cost conscious, the military stands out as something it wants to build up. Hegseth hailed the president's militarization push in a post on his X account. Now, this bothers me, but it also, give me your take on this, Georgie, because I kind of look at it as a Theodore Roosevelt type of dynamic of walk softly and carry a big stick. And so if we build up our military and make it really strong, we hopefully won't have to use it. Whereas previous administrations used it whenever they could and justified, just going in every conflict.
Churchill, Stalin, and Roosevelt met together.
Yeah.
And they're talking about to spread the world between Russia and United States.
Yes.
Churchill was a very good politician.
Okay.
And Stalin put his offer on the table and Roosevelt pretty much got the bait.
Okay.
He said that this is going to be the demarcation line between West and East.
Mhm.
So this is what belongs to you, what belongs to me. And Churchill said, no, I don't want to be in the way how you guys talking.
Right.
And Stalin said, let's vote about that. And Churchill voted against Roosevelt and Stalin. And he said, Churchill, after everything was over, Churchill said, you stupid old man, you are going to remember this for forever, what they did. And it's exactly that we have the East and West for 50 years.
Oh, yeah. Or
because
more.
Churchill was looking to get more under Atlantic NATO coverage and defend.
Right.
And Roosevelt, for some reason, agreed with Stalin.
Well, he was getting pretty old and getting pretty.
No, I told you, you're a stupid old
Maybe
man.
cankerous.
Now you are going to see that. What
How
will
long
happen.
after that? How long after that? Because I'm not going to click on this because it's talking about can we repeat?
I was in the. That was after World War II when they
Correct,
decided-
but I'm saying how long? I'll click on that and see if we can figure it out. But how long after that? How long after that meeting? What was that meeting? Was that what was the name of that one?
I think it was in Yalta.
Yalta. That's what I wanted to say. Yalta meeting. Let's see what that does. Let's see. This was okay. So Yalta conference was held February 4th to the 11th, 1945. And when did Roosevelt's I guess I could have typed in FDR. Let's see. He died in April. Yeah. So it was February. He screwed. He messes up there. And by April, this is April 12th. 2 months. 2 months later?
He died.
He's dead. But that ended that was the dealing with the European theater, and you still had the Pacific theater. That's when Truman stepped up and dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Fun.
Mm-hmm. What else is going on?
Oh, something else that I was reading too is now Lithuania become a part of NATO and European Union.
Yeah.
They are removing all the status of the World War II, Russian status of the World War II that they have to show that the victory over Nazis.
Okay.
But they're removing some history that even if you remove, doesn't bring anything, but because they are from a liberal side, they don't want to have a part of their country with Trump or the other people that are trying to straight up everything.
Yeah.
It's same shit that the liberals did here with those status of people that they fought for this country, or it doesn't matter.
Right.
They were from the east or south or north or west.
Yeah.
But they removed those ones just because they used to have slaves or they have to do something. But
slave, doesn't that term come from the word Slav? The Slavic people? Slave?
Slavic.
Yes, I believe it does. Larry, you about ready over there?
Ooh.
Dino, what you're going to say as I get Larry queued up?
Larry, this is that thing that I have in my head that...
Yeah, that's why I sent it to you.
Are you sending shit while we're doing a show, Larry? Not
No,
sharing with the rest
All
of
I
the
was
show?
gonna say is basically
You sent me something very good, and this I used to have in my head in one
good
school
kicking
board.
the balls was, yeah.
A good kick in the balls will serve your gender confusion.
100%.
And there were some of those
You got in trouble with that.
snowflakes.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get in trouble. They can
Well,
kiss
they
my
were
ass.
upset with you, Georgie.
Hmm?
They were upset with you.
Yeah. Oh, so I
think
couldn't
they
sleep
cried.
that fucking night. They were
Do people out there understand why I call you Georgie instead of versus
It's okay. Don't worry.
George? Because a lot of people call you George. Your name is Georgie. 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 We spell it George for the show purposes, but it's
got a J to it.
It's G.
GJER, GJI.
Okay.
GJI. Dude, it's I love
It's
it.
totally different.
Yeah.
spelling.
What were you going to say, Dean? And then we're going to go to Larry.
Just going to tie on to what you're talking about as far as the foundation, as far as the lines that are being attacked and everything that's being breached, is that on a spiritual level, God already has foundations made out. So it's just a matter of a play out on which side of the field you want to look at as far as the angle.
Mm-hmm.
And on my side, I tend to have to go to the spiritual sense. And I look at it and I go, all right, God, that's in your hands. Even if it doesn't work out the way that we think it should work out.
You got to trust.
I still know that I trust in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, totally agree with everything you're saying, Georgie.
Georgie.
I don't care.
I love it.
I'd rather call you that than George.
George.
You can call me whatever you want, brother.
Well, Georgie. I like that.
Georgie. It's if you say it like that, it's got this Riviera type of Georgie. Georgie, give me more stuff, man.
He
I
needs
love
a
you.
Zeit suit.
I got after George today. He didn't bring me any.
Georgie.
He didn't bring me any of his wife's good sourdough bread.
We'll bring next time.
No. You guys were up taking care of family, up in Toronto for dealing with
we were
passing.
Yeah.
So that's I will give you a pass because you were dealing with a passing. But the problem is that we love your wife's bread here.
Okay.
And since you did that. I didn't do that. You did that.
Okay.
You and Ann brought her awesome bread, and you brought. What'd you bring?
Those burgers with onion.
You had
those are deer burgers. They
were the balls.
Mm-hmm.
You had big balls in the
Some
tray.
of that.
Mm-hmm. He brought big balls.
You were there.
You were there for Mom's memorial. He had the big balls in the tray. You didn't remember
guys
that you've slept since then?
Well, I have. But the funny thing is I didn't taste any of the food that day.
Oh.
Nothing.
All right. That makes sense. Larry, are you ready over there?
I am.
No.
I'm getting some stories ready, and then I'll.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm going to have to do it on mine from the Midwestern.
When Midwesterner?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first one I'm going to is entitled Surprise.
Surprise. Okay.
Dana Nessel decides Jocelyn Benson didn't break campaign.
All right. And I'm going to go to this one right here. See, I've got that at least working. Larry, go.
Yeah. So, Jocelyn Benson contradicts.
Is that the one you want?
Testimony? No.
Well, which one you want? No, I'll go to it, Larry.
Okay.
Right there. Didn't break campaign finance law. I got you, Larry. I got it right here.
There it is.
Oh, look at that bullshit.
Surprise.
Look
Dana
at that.
Nessel decides Jocelyn Benson didn't break campaign finance law.
Wow. She's protecting his sister. She's
Fucking
like,
Charlie's Angels pose.
Yeah.
They're trying. Yeah, it's
They're
more like what is it? Hear no evil, speak no evil, and see no evil.
No, that's only for the Marines.
How about retard 1, retard 2, retard 3?
The most ridiculous tyrants in Michigan, as far as I'm concerned.
While I'm not fully on board with no women in leadership, these 3 women should not be in leadership.
They shouldn't be anywhere near leadership. Michigan's Attorney General determined on Friday that using the Secretary of State's social media to promote Jocelyn Benson's Facebook page. Perfectly legal. But if a Republican would have done it, it'd have been a felony.
100%. Dean, what were you going to say?
That face right there in the middle.
Yeah.
So I decided through the whole experiment they did with the pandemic.
Yeah.
I decided to look up, man, she really looks like somebody familiar. So I looked at past movies that I've been watching. Remember The Last Exorcist? She's got black eyes and she's got a twisted face. But no, I'm serious. Look at that face.
Okay.
Put it right next to hers. So I did that. And I put them together and I said, yep, this is what's running our state.
Wow.
Wow.
I get that, buddy. All right, Larry, what's up?
Panicking Canada targets Michigan and 11 other states with anti-tariff billboards.
Where's this one at, Larry?
You'll see it on there.
I don't see it in the side. Panic. I'm not seeing panic. I got to go back to the main page.
Go back to the main page.
You guys are gonna have to deal with me. Look at Bess. Jocelyn Benson contradicts her testimony. Surprise. This bitch, surprise. Here it is. Here's the thing.
Surprise. There it is. Dana Nessel.
Yeah, well, what you said panic. There it is. Panic at the disco. Panic at the disco. Go ahead, Larry. Do it. Lightning round. Get it done, Larry.
Okay. Canadian officials are panicking about President Donald Trump's tariffs, and they want motorists in Michigan and 11 other states to feel the same way. Wham! That's how I feel. Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly told the Communist News Network Highway Billboard Canada paid to put in Michigan and other states send a message to the American people for them to understand what's at stake, because this is going to hurt their livelihoods and have an impact on their wallets. No, it's not. It's going to hit Canadian wallets.
Correct.
It's not going to hit my wallet because I can buy other products. I don't have to buy anything from Canada.
How about this? Let's do a little pause your lightning round, Larry. I love you, but let's pause your lightning round. I'm going to make sure I know which one to go back to. All right. Let's do a little discussion on this. Let's pause at this and then have a little discussion. Let's do that. Okay, let's do that. You've been getting a whole bunch of products, not services, products from a foreign country that steps on that you have to pay a tariff for.
Right.
Canada's been doing that. Trump says, okay, we're going to put the same tariff percentage that you put on the products we're buying from you on the products you're buying from us.
Yep.
Oh, demonic. Then they put up a sign saying it's going to be a tax on here. We're already paying it because we're already paying for your goods to come over here, and you're charged. No, okay. Then what would happen? Well, instead of buying shit from you, now the price equals out to where we can buy it locally,
right,
for the same price,
cheaper.
And if we buy it locally for the same price, you know what might just happen? The local distributor, the local supplier might have to hire more people, thus bringing up the income base and producing more jobs in the local area. And guess what? It's on parity.
Right.
It's not it is they must hire people from the country.
I said corrected. I get it.
Yep.
Any other thoughts? Because this is what's I'm learning as these tariffs are coming through with Trump.
That's covered. That absolutely. Everything you're saying right now. If we do not start at even at the lowest base, and start saying, oh, wait a minute, we need to take back over and we need to reconstruct this whole idea. We need to get these workers back in our field because that's exactly what builds the economy.
100%. And we've got to do this. This is the type of stuff we've got to start focusing on. Is a larger. I hate this microscopic view of there's a Tourniquet album, microscopic view of a macro world or something like that. It's this idea of where you're so microly focused on one little thing. I'm like, look at Trump in just over 60 days. Gas is coming down, eggs are coming down, everything's coming down.
Right.
Everything's starting to work out. We're going to hit some bumps. You can't undo the amount of corruption. You can't undo the amount of abuse that our country has suffered under without a few bumps in the road. Right? There are going to be some people in government
called themselves ugly, like I said in the last podcast, when they totally defamed Donald Trump just trying to run for presidency, and they slammed it all over NSL, cutting his head off, blood dripping from the neck, just stupid.
It showed the way they are.
Man, I was like, dude, do you not see the wolves?
Right.
Do you not see the wolves?
I want to do this. We're gonna have to find the correct app. Larry's got some of these apps, but I want to do the correct app where The phone rings. Hello? This is Klaus. I need to hire you to go and slash the tires on some Teslas. Can you do it for me? Do I get to burn anything down? No, not this time, but we will pay you really well just to key the word Nazi into the sides of the car.
Well,
no, Klaus, I really want to just burn down a whole city. That's what I'm into. Okay, we will go. Then the next call.
Get the percentage of humanity down to 10%.
Then he goes, hello, this is Klaus. And the old lady answers, hello, Klaus, how are you? I am doing so well. I love what I'm doing. Listen, we need you to go and key a couple of cars. Can you do that for us? Sure. Because you know what they're finding out? Is the vast majority of people keying these cars and going after Teslas, they're all hired.
Oh, yeah.
And the biggest ones of it are these older, liberal, whack job people.
It was a professor.
And they're so fucking stupid because they don't have a clue that the cars have cameras everywhere.
We don't do our research and understand who these people are.
What in the fuck?
I'm like, why are you doing
like
this?
Tesla, by scratching a Tesla car, what are you going to win?
Nothing.
Exactly.
And you're on camera.
And
no,
before Trump
they can win because it's a picture for free.
What was that thing you said the other podcast? You said the guy went up and etched that stuff in his car, and then he's like, "Hey, I got you on camera," and he's like, "I don't care."
He's
Matter
like,
of fact,
I didn't even damage it. It didn't even damage it.
He's
right.
like, "I don't think I even
can
did
wipe
it right."
Off. Yeah, this is how delusional these people are. This is
what the hell? You're gonna destroy my property, maliciously destroy my property.
It's Trump derangement solution,
and then
syndrome.
Ask, did I do a good job with my?
I'm going to argue with you that my destruction of your property was not fully destructive.
I'm about to go to the nearest body shop, get a brand new paint job, and then put a lien on your house.
Right.
Jeez.
We need to fight back.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's these George Soros, Klaus Schwab, fucking funded people that are out doing this shit. And it's amazing to me that they're going after Elon Musk, okay? Which I've had multiple discussions that I didn't trust Elon. Once he's come on board with Trump, and the more I hear him speak, he's getting it. Yeah. He may have come from the other direction, but he's getting it. Now there's a few things you still hold out a little bit. You go, but the reality is, I go, the fruit that this dude's putting forth is amazing. When he took over Twitter and he took over Twitter and everybody was like, okay, it's free speech platform. It's going to automatically happen. He had to deal with algorithm. He had to deal with employees. And he had to deal with case by case on a lot of things with people that had been deplatformed.
How many people did he have to hire to actually correct the algorithms?
I think that's the 20% that he kept in place.
Oof.
But he fired 80% of the people. And once he found out, people kept coming to him. And they said, hey, this person's still banned. And he goes, why are they banned? And then he's like, oh, well, shit, that's a dumbass reason. And they go, okay, you're restored.
Here's a team legal.
Right. And they start putting them back on. And multiple people has gotten there, not everybody, but multiple people have gotten there. High profile people. Most notably Alex Jones being one of them. Once
Thanks for that, man.
Elon figured out what was really going on, he said, why is this guy banned? Oh, because they said he did such and such and he didn't do it. Well, fuck, he's back, you know? And I love Elon. They come out and they go, so you're gonna what's gonna happen if they pull their money, the advertisers pull their money? And he goes, you're trying to control me through advertising money?
Right.
Go fuck yourself.
Right. Literally.
That's what he said.
Literally.
He goes, you don't want to spend money on my platform? Are you gonna try to extort me?
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Right.
That was his exact words.
I actually liked it coming out of his voice. Fuck yourself.
You go fuck yourself. I'll try to look it up. Larry, next one on the
Planned Parenthood of Michigan credits Donald Trump with decision to close 4 clinics.
All right, I got to go backwards.
Yep, you got to go backwards.
Back to the page.
Yeah.
And see where that one's at. Planned Parenthood. There it is. Planned Parenthood. And I'm going to go to that and go to
Planned Parenthood of Michigan is crediting President Donald Trump with its decision to shutter 4 of its 14 clinics in the Great Lakes state. So that means they're shutting down 4 slaughterhouses.
Good.
Wow.
Amen.
Yeah, amen. Thank you,
Amen.
Donald
Yeah.
Trump.
Thank you,
They're
Jesus.
crediting him. They're saying, "Oh, it's so
Thank
bad."
you,
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna deviate with you guys for just a second.
Mhm.
I would like to see every Planned Parenthood clinic stay open. No,
Oh.
I would like to see them stay open. No, follow me. Follow me just for a
Okay.
second.
All right, I'm following.
And I would like to see every fucking dime that's ever sent to them by the federal government and the state governments be stripped away from them. And then see how long they
Bleed 'em
actually
out.
survive.
Bleed them out. Right.
They're talking about
Pull the
taking money
plug
away from
and drain
NPR.
it from a pool
Yeah,
sense.
they're talking about taking money from NPR and PBS, and they're freaking the fuck out.
Right.
Planned Parenthood is going to credit Trump. Well, why? Let's read through the article here a little bit, Larry, and see what's up, because I can almost guarantee it has to do with pulling their funding. And so I would like every one of them to stay open until they have to declare bankruptcy because they're no longer giving government
Well, I'll
tit
tell
money.
you what. I read a sentence and a half. Now let me go to the next paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
The Trump administration and its anti-abortion allies have made clear their intention to defund Planned Parenthood and attack access to sexual and reproductive health care.
Ding, 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 ding. I guess I was right. You know what? Oh, what you mean is shutting a Planned Parenthood clinic down means that the government's no longer subsidizing you to stay open?
And it has nothing to do with health care and everything to do with abortion.
It has to do with abortion. And they've been conned, people have been conned and tricked into believing that an abortion or that abortion is somehow a health thing, reproductive health. When the reality is all it is birth control.
Yeah.
You wanted to go out there and bang, which we all, I think here at the table, we all like to do. It's fun stuff. But you didn't take you didn't take the proper precautions or prepare yourself for the responsibility and the inevitability.
You didn't put the sleeve on.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden there's an unwanted pregnancy. And so now you want to solve the unwanted pregnancy through abortion funded by the government. And again, I'll say it.
Because of your actions.
Yeah. You don't want, you're pissed off that it's being defunded. Well, if it's such a great thing and such an awesome thing for society, then it would stay open on its own.
Let me tell you something. I've been through 2 abortions in my life.
But
no, I want to say this. The first time, I didn't have any idea exactly how it was going to feel until after it actually happened. But after it happened, a spirit came over me. And I went to a restaurant with that woman, and we sat there in silence, and we ordered food, but we did not eat our food. We looked at our food, and we threw our food away, and we were silent for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not an impression,
right,
to tell you that this needs to shut itself down,
right.
I mean, that's just my story, my personal story.
And
Sorry,
no, you're right. And the
it's very interesting.
The vast majority of those people that come back from that horrible experience, the vast majority of the people are in the same boat where they've been traumatized by that. It's only this very fringe, small minority of really psychopathic or sociopathic people that get off on it, and then they're doing this promotion. In fact, there was a great. I wish I didn't know we were going to go down this road, but Larry brought it up in the lightning round here. But there was there's a very well known doctor that goes around now and is an anti-abortion doctor, and he was in the abortion. He ran an abortion clinic for years, and he talks about what they used to do to keep their minds in a numbed, not feeling, not acknowledging what they were actually doing state, where when they're sucking a baby out of that womb and they're doing that and they're making jokes, because otherwise the stark reality of the murder that they're doing
They're going to
hits them
go
in the
crazy.
face. Yeah. Yes. And so they had to do that, make those jokes, make those things because of the destruction that's going on. George, you were going to say something when Dean was making his point. Was there something?
No, it's okay.
Okay. All right, Larry, let's get back to this article.
Okay, you want to get back to that?
You want to go to the next one?
Well, no, I was just going to end it on that one. This is going to be the last one. I was just...
I just want to ask, I don't know exactly, when they go on abortion clinics, Who pays for?
The court.
Court. Well, the government.
Government.
The government pays for it. That's my whole point. Is so look at the Trump administration and its anti-abortion allies have made it clear their intentions to defund Planned Parenthood. The whole start of the article is Planned Parenthood of Michigan credits Trump with closing 4 clinics. Well, if all we needed to do was remove the government funding to you to have you closed, then yes, Trump is responsible because he's like, look, you can stay open, you can do whatever you want. We're just not going to pay for it anymore.
Right.
Piece of cake. I mean, that's the whole idea. And that's the dynamic that we're looking at. You know, this same fucking Gretchen Whitmer here, this bitch who watched multiple grassroots, homegrown businesses go under while she kept the fucking weed. And, you know, there's some weed. We don't give a shit, right? But they kept the weed stores open. They kept the liquor stores open. They kept the strip clubs open. They kept the
abortion mills
mills open. They kept the Walmart open. They kept the other stores open. And they shut down every mom and pop.
That's right.
Little store that they go after and terrorize and torture them. My buddy, independent owner over there at the Brighton Market. They had these little busybody pieces of shit people going in there. He's not wearing a mask. Well, did you get sick on your last visit to go get your 12-pack of fucking beer? Then shut the hell up.
Yeah.
With a draped
look what they
over
did
her
to our friend
suitcase
up
and
there
a
in
fucking
Owasso.
billboard, to like a little clipboard in their hands with a checklist ready to. Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And,
Yeah.
and he's like, get the fuck out of my store.
Yeah, and your case in point, Larry, look what they did to
the barber
up in Owasso, right?
Yeah.
And what happened? The sheriff stepped up,
Yeah.
got in line for a haircut,
Yeah.
and when the state police showed up, her personal Gestapo, the sheriff looked at him and goes, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And they said, "Well, what are you doing here, sheriff?" And he says, "I'm getting a haircut." "What are you doing here?" And he put him in their place.
Yeah.
And this bitch didn't give a
Sheriff
shit
rules.
about mom and pop restaurants, little country stores,
Or the Constitution.
or the Constitution, of course, all this other stuff. But now she's going to stand there with Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood stands with Whitmer. So I don't know if this picture has anything to do with these 4 clinics closing, but they chose that picture for that.
Yeah.
Probably she went a couple of times in those clinics.
Well, don't you like the fact that they use the color pink?
Of course.
You know, the pink that we like to, whatever. I don't want to get, But no, this is exactly what they do. They throw this in your face with colors and things and such. But no, we know what they're going at. They're going after the vagina to try to abort the baby.
100%.
It's exactly what they're
That's why Madonna and all of her
It is
sick
so
fucks wore the pussy hats when they were attacking
Fuck
Trump.
Madonna.
Yeah. Planned Parenthood of Michigan is credited President Donald Trump with its decision to shutter 4 of its 14 clinics. You know what? I'm ready for the other 10 to not have funding. You can stay open, do your thing. If you don't have the funding, you don't push.
Let me catch
you don't
your
run
husband
ads.
out on a fucking boat.
Where's
the
our
next
breaking
time,
news bumper?
Right?
I said we weren't going to do any news. Or a breaking news bumper?
Yeah.
Somebody would need to be at the desk to push that button.
Oh, we got to get it on here.
No pun intended.
Yeah. What do you got? What do you got?
Virginia shooting leaves at least 3 dead and 3 injured. So
Where's that at?
Today?
Yes, it's not 1 hour ago.
On what? What are you looking
at?
at?
Least 3 people are dead and another 3 people are injured in a shooting today in Spotsville, Pennsylvania. I am going to send it. I'm going to copy right now.
All right, send it to me.
And I'm sending it to your Facebook.
All right, and then we'll go back to the Midwesterner. And there was a couple other ones you wanted to get to on Midwesterner.
Let's see.
John James announces he's running for governor.
Yes, John James. I don't know why.
Don't scratch your microphone, Larry.
Apparently.
And you keep letting it slide underneath your vest.
Oh, keep sliding underneath.
Yeah. Go ahead. So, do we have any opinions about John James in this?
I am not going to give an opinion on John James other than he should stay in Congress.
I believe so. 43-year-old U.S. Army captain announces and CEO announces plan to leave Congress less than 100 days into President Trump's term. and he's going to run for governor. So you know what? I really liked John James, his platform, and the things he was doing. Just like I liked.
Is the guy in the center John James?
Yeah, I like John James, Republican, everything like that.
I met him before.
I liked his platform. I liked a lot of things he was doing, and yet there were some things that really gave me pause about his ability to not be compromised. I think there's some areas where he could be easily compromised or at least swayed. That would fly a little bit under the radar, but at least come out in the wash. There'll be some dirty water there.
Here's an interesting one.
What do you got, Larry? Give it to me.
Representative Tom Barrett, our very own congressman, visits a Mexico prison to advocate for the release of a Michigan couple.
Did we not read this one last week?
I don't remember that one.
I thought we did.
April 3rd.
Yeah, I think. No, I guess that was April 1st or April Fool's Day.
Yeah, on the morning of April 2nd,
yeah.
U.S. Rep. Tom Barrett, Michigan, departed for Mexico to advocate for the release of a Michigan couple, Paul and Christy Aquillo, who have been held in a maximum security prison for nearly a month. Paul and Christy Aquillo were arrested on March 4th, 2025, for allegedly concealing payments to Palace Resorts, a timeshare company, which stated as a financial dispute quickly escalated into a legal battle, leaving the couple behind bars and their family back home, desperately seeking help. Tom Barrett is a veteran who served as the representative for Michigan, serves as the representative for Michigan's 7th Congressional District, has been in contact with members of the Aquillo family. In a post on X, has expressed concern that the conditions Paul and Christy live in are continued to decline.
Mm-hmm.
He also emphasizes that their imprisonment is unacceptable and diplomatic pressure must be applied to resolve the situation. Donald Trump needs to pay attention to this one.
Yeah.
And cut off, block all trade with Mexico
until they release. Now, what is the story? Do we know the story of what happened with them?
I do not know the backstory. I've seen some talk about it on Facebook, but I do not have the facts.
Okay. I will note this, that apparently I'm going to go back to to this picture in full screen here. Apparently, maximum security Mexican prisons are sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Absolutely.
You see the Coca-Cola on the tables there?
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you see that.
I'm just saying, unless those are surplus tables they got from the taco mart down the street that they just threw into the prison.
Right.
How do you get tables?
How deep do you want to go down the rabbit hole on exactly what Coca-Cola means anymore?
Yeah, exactly. I've been in a few. I visited a few friends that were incarcerated, and I've seen a few other places. Never seen Coca-Cola tables.
Yeah,
they were usually just white tables. I mean, that's. But I mean, if you want corporate sponsorship for your jail, I guess you get it.
There is something said about it, and this is many, many years ago, that if a prisoner or someone who was into a detainment and being questioned, that if you gave him a Coke, he'd probably give you the right answer.
Really?
Yeah. So that might be another agenda behind that whole thing, but
right,
that's just something else.
But all these stories and more,
on the Midwesterner,
and the Midwesterner, which is Michigan-based news.
Right.
Very good.
So if you give a Coke, what was that?
So basically what happens is when you come into an interrogation room
Mm-hmm.
and you've got someone who is basically trying to get out of some shit, if he did it, is what you did was you were like, yeah, why don't you go get that guy a fresh Coke?
Mm-hmm.
And that's back when the Coke was good, not the shit that started to change in the 80s.
Right.
I'm saying the stuff that was fresh with real sugar. Yeah.
Larry, can you send me the link, not just the snapshot of the photo?
Of course,
it's not
we'd
allowing
have
me to open it up.
research that.
You should have got the link.
It's not allowing me to open it up, buddy. It's just giving me the screenshot.
Something about the refreshing bite to the tongue.
Wait, is that it?
Virginia shooting.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
There we go.
All right, I had to click up top. All right, here's what Larry was looking at, and I'll let Larry. Breaking news with Larry. Go, Larry.
Okie dokie.
Oh, we got sound there. We even got sound.
Yeah, that video is.
Probably from a helicopter.
Yeah, Virginia shooting leaves at least 3 dead and 3 injured. At least 3 people are dead and another 3 people were injured in a shooting Tuesday in Spotsylvania County, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I said Pennsylvania. Shame on me. Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office, SCSO. Deputies received information at about 5:30 p.m. tonight about a shooting in Spotsylvania, Virginia, a suburb about 16 miles southwest of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
When deputies arrived, they found multiple people who were shot, according to the news release. As of 7:45 p.m., the sheriff's office confirmed 3 people were dead, 3 people were taken to local hospitals, according to the release.
Mm.
So this is an active and fluid investigation.
Okay.
According to the sheriff's officials, no suspects have been apprehended at this time. We ask the public to please stay clear of the area. The ages of the victims have not yet been released. Mary Washington Healthcare and the Sheriff's Department did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital request for comment.
I will be very, very curious as to what's going on. Now, there's some.
Is this another transgender shooting?
Well, I'm looking at Caucasians right here. In this photo. I'm wondering what the actual makeup is. There's a Caucasian police officer, but this looks a little bit more like a apartments. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like houses right there above the sheriff's car. I want to know what it is because you know what? When they don't give you clear explanation about the demographics of the place where it happened, when they don't point out the ethnicities of the situation involved without releasing names, you kind of get a
I
little
know
bit,
what you mean.
Yeah, you get a little bit suspect, and you go, "Was this gang related? Was this black on black crime?" Because you know what, you're being very vague on the identities.
They're
Where if this
trying
was a white guy that shot up a black neighborhood,
it would be all over.
Every paragraph in there would be
all over.
Exactly. So the fact that they're being very cagey about this just makes me speculate.
It
Just
might
makes me
have
speculate.
to do
Now-
with the same community or
Yeah. Now we're looking at this. I'm gonna switch over to me because I didn't know this. Morbidly obese Florida man who admitted killing a Miami Herald employee executed.
And a freedom that it doesn't matter where you put me.
Okay, so that's a dude. They said he's morbidly obese. Does that look morbidly obese? And he kidnapped, let's see, pronounced dead at 6:12 p.m. Kidnapping and strangling of Janet Acosta. Yeah. So that's him beforehand, apparently, right? And then do they have a picture of him when he was executed? Not when he was executed, but just before. So they're showing the video of him. I don't know how they're. What is this, Fox News? They're calling this guy morbidly obese. I'm like, you're morbidly obese? He just looks, I guess they're feeding him well at the prison. The dude just does not look, listen, I can type in morbidly obese and we can find your 600-pound life superstars on there. I mean, that dude's definitely clearly overweight. But look at the dude.
Look at Andre the Giant.
Look at the dude interviewing him. Wait. I'm going to go back. Look at the dude interviewing him. They looked like two frogs sitting on a lily pad talking to each other with a piece of glass in front of them. Okay? A couple bullfrogs. Look at, dude. That guy actually, I don't know who that guy is, but come on. That guy looks fatter than that guy. Are you serious? Is it the camera angle? Is that a horrible angle? Stop with the stupid fucking.
Obese.
Why when I pause does that thing do that shit? Look at this. So stupid. I hate your fucking app.
It looks like Violent J.
Dude. All right. I did not need to see this. Anyway, so he's gone his way. I think anybody that is found duly guilty of murder, of sexual assault and murder, let's see, kidnapping, strangling, death of her. You forfeit your right. Can Jesus forgive you? Absolutely. Should people go in there? There it is, and talk to you about your poor life choices and that Jesus can forgive you? Absolutely. But that don't square you with the state, and I think you need to be held fully accountable for that. Larry, anything else on the Midwesterner?
Nope, that's it for tonight.
Little light on the desk over there, Larry.
Oh, we went through quite a bit, actually.
No, I want you to, dude.
I've enjoyed everything we've talked about.
I usually want to give you like 10 minutes to slam everything in, and I give him a half an hour, and he's petering out on me.
Well,
you want to take a nap and then come back for something else?
Michigan City threatens residents with defamation lawsuits over statements that have caused harm. So now cities are going to...
Are you still in the Midwesterner?
Yeah.
Of course. Of course it was.
Because I'm just fucking...
Yeah, right there in the corner, up top in the corner.
Up top in the corner? Where?
See it? Michigan City.
Oh, yes. I wanted to go over this one.
Again? Yeah.
Give it to us, Larry. Larry News.
Yes. The city of Bangor, Michigan.
Bangor.
Yes. Bangor. Bang.
That's not how it's spelled, Larry.
It's not?
No.
It is too. See?
It's B-A-N.
Bangor.
G-O-R.
Bangor.
Bangor.
The city of Bangor.
The city of Bangor,
it's up in
Michigan.
Bay City.
Okay.
Bangor Township.
Yeah, Bangor, Michigan.
Okay.
Is sending a message to residents. They better keep their mouth shut or face a defamation suit.
About what?
In a 7-0 vote by the Bangor City Council in January, council members approved a motion to allow the city attorney, Scott Graham, to file charges with the court against all parties involved in statements that have caused harm to the city, MLive reports.
Wait, harm to the city?
Yes.
So like Larry saying bang her when it's Bangor? Larry's going to get a defamation suit.
It's Bangor.
You better call one of our...
That's what I said. Bang her.
Bang her.
Bangor.
Bangor.
Bang her.
Bangor, like Al Gore, but
no, you're taking too far.
Fucking shit.
Yeah,
the
Larry,
move was prompted
Well,
by comments from concerned residents about city manager Justin Weber also serving as police chief and other government transparency issues, as officials are now facing fierce backlash in the city and beyond.
And beyond.
Yes. AC Flesher, the log,
Aldag.
Aldag?
F.
Aldig.
Aldag.
Oh, yeah. Who ran the Facebook page
Bangor
Apple Press focused on local news, told MLive the motion gives the impression that critical comments could spark an explosive lawsuit. All right, this is a crazy story because a city can't sue somebody for defamation.
If I raise a hand here, is what we talked about, and Tisha was here, and she talked about, we don't have a senator in that community right now.
Oh, you're right. You're correct.
So what's happening is that power to the people, now it's going back into the city.
Right.
And now the city can make the fucking challenge of just pushing all kinds of shit.
And you've got no legislation.
No legislation, no senator to fucking run it.
What happened to that senator? There's a story there.
Well,
we went over
Whitmer said that there is not availability for another representative for senator for another 2 years, is what Tisha said.
Mm-hmm.
So
this
and I think it was
community,
what happened
this
to
community, Bangor Township, will not have a senator for 2 years because she has.
Because shit smear.
What happened to the senator that was there?
I don't know that much.
Well, I think they got appointed. I'm gonna click on it real here. I'm gonna go
I don't know
back.
if it was a bow out.
What was that? The 35th? What are you in, Dino? 30? We're in.
54th. I don't know. I can't remember. 58th.
54th.
54th.
Yeah, 35th. Michigan's 35th. Still without 35th. Senator. I'm gonna read this article real quick.
Yeah.
Here it is. Wall feed, and it's been over 2 months. 45th. This is what we read last week, leaving 270,000 taxpayers without representation in Lansing. So here's what it is. The seat was left open when Democrat congressional woman Kristen McDonald Rivet was elected to Congress in November. So she went to U.S. Congress from being a Michigan senator, and her original election victory to represent the 35th was one of the closest. Oh wait, I read that wrong.
Oh, I remember this story.
All right, so the one of the closest ones in a narrow Republican against Annette Glenn considered. When a Democrat seat opened up in the left-leaning district, Whitmer's election announcements seemed to come faster than lobbyists spotted at an open bar. But here's what happened. Okay, so here's what happened. Yeah, so I just read all that and didn't read it correctly.
Yeah, I remember this story now because I commented that you're actually better off not having anybody there than you are having a Democrat there. So
potentially, but it's still this.
I mean, what's the difference?
But look at the attack you just said in Bangor Township, though.
Yeah.
Well, where does that come from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I guess
I
guess they're sad about it. Such action would violate the First Amendment, which completely bars government entities like the city of Bangor from suing
Good God.
for defamation. Right.
Well, so either way, the seat is left empty. I want to say that it was a narrowly. I'm trying to say. No representative, absolutely nothing. They're concerned that if they hold an election, it could be picked up by a Republican. No, they're concerned that it could be picked up by a Republican.
Okay, so
here it is. Here. I'm going to highlight this part. If a Republican wins the vacant seat, the Democrats' current 19 to 18 majority would be reduced, leading to a 19-19 tie. In such a scenario, the lieutenant governor would be the tiebreaker. Okay, so you still would maintain it, but she does not want to risk it. And what Tisha was telling us last week was last week or 2 weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago.
That there is actually a possibility that they could get that seat again because they've gotten it in the past, even though Midland and Bay City and even Saginaw tend to be heavily leftist, all your inner cities, but there's a lot of rural area up there. So anyway, so that's the dynamic that we're looking at. All right. What else do we got here on our list? The tariff wars, we talked a little bit about that. They're capitulating. They're having a lot of people that are coming back and going, okay, let's just go 0-0 because we can't handle this. Right? They're freaking out. In fact, I'm going to pull this one up.
What are you talking about there, sir?
Let's go 0.
Let's go 0. Let's see where it's at. And then we're going to finish up this whole. Let's talk about the tariffs, and then we're going to go back to the stupid fucking wolf that they got going on here. I'm going to find the article. Where is it at? Where's it at? There's a picture of the fucking lady. There it is. EU 0 for 0. EU offers to slash all tariffs to appease Trump. The European Union. How do we read it? What language do we read it in? Georgia, or accent do we read it in?
I think Fauci should.
That is German accent.
Is that German?
No, dude, in
The
Irish.
European Union appears to be shelving its previous belligerent rhetoric about hitting back at President Trump's tariffs, announcing the intention to be a pussy. So they are going to pursue negotiations instead with one of the biggest gestures right away. Okay, we give. You have twisted our arm behind our back, and it hurts. Stop, President Trump. We don't like it like this. We have offered 0 tariff on industrial goods because we have Bosch and Mercedes and BMW, and we want to sell them to American people. And if you twist our arms like you are doing, it hurts, and we can't. It hurts. The move comes after the Trump administration imposed a 25% tariff on all steel, aluminum, and cars, as well as a sweeping 20% reciprocal tariff on other goods to rectify its trade deficit. Together, these account for some 70% of the EU's exports to the U.S., worth over $530 billion, $530 billion euro. Upon the announcement, the EU immediately began to talk about retaliations and floating immediate countermeasures, starting with tariffs on $28 billion worth of U.S. imports that was expected to be announced on Monday once the Commission had confirmed that member states were behind the strategy. Turns out they weren't. At a meeting between the EU trade ministers in Luxembourg earlier on Monday, officials agreed on negotiating mutually acceptable solutions as their preferred approach rather than going on the offense, because going on the offense, you're going to get bent over. So there it is. EU Trade Commissioner, I can't even say her name. There's too many fucking little extra little notes there. What is it? Maurice. How do you say that fucking name, George?
Where is that?
Right there.
Gafkovic.
Dude, there's too many little accents over letters.
Maroš Stavkovic.
Maroš Stavkovic. Say it again.
Maroš. The S with a.
But the C is a shitch.
The S with the
okay
cover head and the top is S. So it's Maroš.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to figure it out. That Brussels 0 to 0 would primarily cover U.S. cars.
Is it Polish?
I don't know. Trade Commissioner. On which the EU currently has a 10% tariff, as well as a slew of other industrial goods such as chemicals, pharmaceuticals, rubber, and plastic machinery. At the same time, both the Commission and the Council signaled preparedness to play tough if Washington refuses to negotiate. Look, you have nothing if we don't buy your shit.
Pretty much.
You have nothing. If we don't buy your shit, you have nothing. What are you going to negotiate with? You need to buy from us. No, we're not going to buy from you anymore. But you need to buy from us. No, we're not going to buy from you anymore. But what's going on in chat, Larry, before we end the show? I see you're chiming in over there. I see your cannonballs.
I want to see the future of France now that Nigeria kicked them out and they can't get any more uranium for their power plants. Because Nigeria is very rich in uranium, and France used to get the uranium from Nigeria. They have about like 60 nuclear power plants in France, and the Germans turned off the last 2 or 3 ones a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now they are buying clean energy from Russia, from France. And so they closed their own nuclear plants, and they are buying now clean energy from France.
Ridiculous.
They got to get you into this idea that you have to believe into this.
I'm curious to see
green energy.
So they got green energy bullshit.
All different fucking aspects of all different countries.
Biggest pushers of the green energy bullshit are the fucking oil companies, because when they push the green energy stuff and knowing that people are not going to fully get off the green energy or off oil, they make more money. It's just like when they talked about peak oil back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, and they say, "Oh, we're going to run out." What did that do? Created artificial scarcity.
Right.
Jack the price up.
Same with food, same with water.
Same. Yep, exactly. What do you got over there, Larry? It says Dale's been chiming a lot, but I also see our good buddy Clayton says
You
hope
see
all
Clayton
is
in there?
yeah, right there. Pass me the mic. Says hope all is well, guys. Hello from Alaska, drill baby drill. Isn't that Clayton's handle?
Oh, I didn't know. I don't know.
Hello.
Well, who else is hello from Alaska?
That would be. It has to be Clayton.
Because I've seen his tag before. And then we got our buddy Dale there. Dale's been tearing it up.
Yeah, we'll have to get him in here for a ice trucker report.
Yeah. Oh, for Clayton?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we like Clayton.
And it says Dale says I think they got elected to another office and it's an empty chair. Yeah, Tisha would clarify for us what actually happened, and she did on the show. And I'm not
Sorry if
remembering.
I didn't clarify
No,
exactly, but
no, I was trying to remember.
I remember the attention that we had.
Yeah, 100%. She was hot and bothered and fired up about it and came down here.
And that triggered me when he said something about Bangor Township.
You got triggered. I did. But you didn't key a car, so I mean, I commend you.
You know, I didn't want to be on camera.
Well, there's other people that have been triggered and then they key a car that they don't know. You know what? I think keying. I think
that's peaceful protesting. When you key a car and then you dump gas on it and light it on fire.
No, throw bricks through windows.
Throw bricks through windows. That's peaceful protest.
Is it?
Absolutely.
Do you know what? I remember now, Larry. No,
And, you release green energy too.
Yeah. No, I remember now, Larry, and I apologize to you specifically.
Yeah.
November 23rd, 1963. 22nd, 23rd.
What's that?
It was a mostly peaceful ride through Dallas.
Yeah, right. It was.
Yeah.
It was mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful.
Right until they got there in the that strange curve there at near the grassy knoll.
Well,
So it was a mostly peaceful ride through Dallas. Yeah, mostly peaceful. Mostly peaceful. Yeah. There was just one slight incident right there.
One little
changed the dynamics there. Yeah. It's all good. I mean, just mostly peaceful.
Just one little,
and not a big deal, you know.
Like three or four shooters.
Kennedy assassination.
Oh,
it's mostly peaceful. Drive.
Three or four shooters.
Except for that one level.
3 or 4 shooters. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 or 4 shooters.
Yeah.
Maybe even a Secret Service agent.
No,
I think that one's from the footage is thoroughly debunked, but I have looked deeply into that one.
Yeah.
I believe that he was shot from the drainage. There are several shots. The manhole, not the manhole, but when you get to the curb and they have the opening at the curb,
the seat.
And if you follow the trajectory of the angle coming up, and because he was in,
under.
That's one of the problems
on the ladder.
Well,
there's a ladder that goes up underneath those.
Oh yes, no, but I'm talking about where JFK was sitting.
Well, he got shot at too.
Right, but what I was going to say is the jump seat. That's why I was thinking Trump. Yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
So most people don't realize that. So in one of the things that got wrong in the JFK movie, and I love it, Oliver Stone did a great job on it, is they tried to put Governor Conley directly in front at the same height as President Kennedy, and he wasn't. If you picture the car, this is a long stretch Lincoln. Okay.
Yes, it was.
And Kennedy was in the back seat, and his seats and Jackie, their seats were up higher so they could be seen.
Yep.
Than they would have normally been in that back seat. And the seats in front of them, the second row of seats, were lower and closer. So when they talk about how the bullet went through, there is some trajectory that would have gone straight.
There's an agenda problems. I mean, it's opinion,
yeah.
But there's an agenda that also I've heard that the projection of them seats was made available for the shot.
Yeah, exactly. So the seats in the middle are closer together.
Right.
The seats in the back are a little bit further apart. They're higher. And so it lends itself as they're coming down Houston and Elm, or they turn down the one driveway, that culvert shot was very easy to come up and boom.
Well, his head did go up.
Yeah.
And over.
Exactly. So. It definitely was not. So whether it's from the grassy knoll or from the drainage culvert area, There were definitely multiple shooters in there. And, that car is found at the Henry Museum. You're right, Dale. It's found at the Henry Museum. And it was immediately, they did not do forensic analysis. They did not find out the trajectory. They did not take the vehicle.
Typical mafia funeral.
Right.
Right.
Correct.
And most people that have never studied about J.D. Tippit, the police officer that was involved in that. I would challenge people to go back and look at that. The reason that J.D. Tippit was murdered at the same time as Kennedy is because they needed a clean wound on J.D. Tippit, who was called by all of his colleagues at the police department there in Dallas, Little Kennedy, because he looked exactly like Kennedy. He was a doppelganger for Kennedy. And because they knew they had to take multiple shots at Kennedy and they needed somebody else, they needed the body to fit the narrative, they simply shot J.D. Tippit in such a way that would match the narrative while they just riddled Kennedy with bullets as he's driving. Yeah, very, very interesting. Most people don't get that. They see the Zapruder film and they see the two initial shots, the one to the throat and then the headshot, and they're trying to account for all these bullets for that whole thing, and they don't recognize all the other shots that are being fired to try to hit. Exactly.
One thing that I can tell you, and I see this during the years, even Trump said he's going to release all the documentation and all of this. They're going to release so much that they won't put themselves in trouble.
Exactly.
Right.
Don't dream, don't expect to learn something new. They are going to add some more details to some more flowers and some sugar to make it more sweeter. But I'm not expecting something that they say that X or Y 3 letters department was involved or some other people were involved that didn't belong to government, but they belong to strong businesses, because he stepped some people on his toes when he threw the big amount of silver and in from the state budget and then created the silver dollar.
Yeah.
So
he had several $1 million of actual
around
U.S.
40
currency.
Yeah.
That was a part separate from the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, and Federal Reserve didn't like it.
Nope, and they conspired. But you're exactly right. And what's interesting is I want all of the information released. I want all the information released.
No, you are not going to see it.
Realize there's been 62 years of them concealing it, hiding it, and ultimately shredding it. What was the number one things that the Nazis did? They tried to shred all of the whenever there. We've all seen it. We've all seen it depicted in movies. We've seen it in real time. We're at the end of the fall of whatever organization it is. What do they got? They're in that room shredding all the fucking documents. They're running them through the machine.
At the time when Gorbachev was head of government, head of Communist Party and head of government in Russia.
Yeah.
Gorbachev told them, if you guys don't know exactly what happened with Kennedy, we have all the details and we can put in the front of you who kills Kennedy.
Yeah.
And they say, no, we are not interested.
No. Well, and the reality is, whether we on this side of the equation, we're just looking for confirmation of what we already know.
Right.
And even more than that, just a little bit of details on who the actual people were. I believe LBJ was completely involved. I believe that the deep state was involved.
Absolutely.
I believe the CIA was involved.
Absolutely.
I believe the mafia was involved. And those were the main dynamics of it, that they were like, the bankers were involved. They're like, look, this fucker is
1913.
He was supposed to be bought and paid for. Kennedy.
Yeah.
That's what his father that's what his father promised.
He knew against it, and he tried to project it away and get the people warned.
And when
Before
Kennedy
that could happen,
when JFK got into office, whatever the Lord did to move on his heart to be as honorable as he could be as far as the trajectory of the country.
Right.
And most people don't even look at this dynamic, because I've looked at multiple aspects of the Kennedy assassination, and I've listened to this documentary and that documentary and this podcast where people are just talking about it and having a conversation and looked at all this stuff. So I've been doing that. I mean, this movie came out in Oliver Stone's movie came out in 1991. I remember where I was at. I was
a kid.
I remember talking about it with friends.
And for all those people, that's something I want to share before we go. But for all those people that watch The Handmaid's Tale,
don't you do it? Don't you? I don't want to fucking.
Yeah, the season 6 was released this morning at midnight.
Why? You just sullied my whole fucking show, Larry.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's a great show. It's terrible. I got people calling me, telling me how terrible the show is.
Yeah.
And it is terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's like Starbucks coffee. You keep sipping it, but you're not looking away.
You end up loving the oppressed
Legs
character.
wide open right in front of you when we walk in the door.
Yeah. What the hell? Yeah. But anyway, so take a look at truly look at the JFK thing, and I'll tell you this: JFK was ultimately assassinated, just like. I will go out and say 2 people that I know confirmed part of the assassination attempt that it succeeded. They were not assassinated because they were bad men. They were assassinated because they were trying to do the right thing. But the reason that the assassination attempt succeeded, in my opinion, is because they had vulnerabilities in their life. And their vulnerabilities, JFK was a womanizer. Martin Luther King, and I had this on inside information because I was involved with some church organizations that know this firsthand, that Martin Luther King was not faithful. And
He was a man.
And so there are dynamics.
I'm a man, I'm faithful.
Well, what I'm saying is that when we open ourselves up in areas of vulnerabilities and the Lord tries to get to us and we don't correct them, they're open areas of attack. And I want people to be aware of that. It doesn't mean you're ultimately a bad person, but if you've got an open area, look at Samson. Did Samson do a lot of good? Absolutely. No, he did. He was the warrior for the Philistines, but he had a vulnerability because he liked that hot chick.
Right.
And she kept trying to seduce him. And every time he did, it got worse. And then his eyes are gouged out. And he actually took out more Philistines in his death than he did in his life. So when you look at the totality of it, you go, ultimately, this was not a bad person, but he was somebody who gave into a weakness, into an area that it cost him. Larry, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Be ready for the snowstorm tomorrow.
We got a snowstorm? Are you kidding me?
I wish I was kidding you.
Is there a snowstorm tomorrow?
Tomorrow afternoon.
That's all right. I'll be playing hockey.
You're playing hockey?
Well, by that afternoon time. I got 4
be
o'clock
prepared. It's not going to be that bad. I guess
I'll be in narrow left.
a half inch of snow. So I guess
Half inch of snow?
Yeah.
What's your final thoughts?
It's supposed to stick. So, final thoughts: don't panic. Sit back and relax and watch Trump fix the crap that has been broken for many, many years.
Okay.
It's don't be overly emotional. The market's going to go up and it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And, if this isn't fixed, if somebody doesn't do something about it, it's never going to get fixed. You got to fix it.
Fix it, Larry.
Eventually this country will fail if we don't.
Dale is confirming that the flurries are already here. Flurries are here. Not furries.
Not the furries?
Not furries, but there's a flurries.
Well, I heard the storm wasn't supposed to hit till tomorrow night.
Well, Dale is contradicting that assumption on your part.
Okay.
I mean, you want to call Dale out, you can deal with Dale.
Yeah, no.
But Dale in the chat is
Well, we do not have...
He's got his fast fingers flipping on.
We don't have a bay window put into the man cave yet.
Well, I want to get these skylights in eventually, but
this is
not
why
today.
they call cave. It doesn't have windows.
Exactly. People come in and they go, wow, it's really dark in here. And I go, it's called a cave. It's called a cave. Dino, you got a final thought over there, buddy?
Yeah.
All right. Give me let's go to overhead. There it is. There it is.
I do.
All right.
What I've committed to is everybody's all right. We join hands and we pray.
Okay.
All right. Stand up. We don't have to stand up.
Larry's all caught on shit. He's over here. Go ahead.
Always.
Lord Jesus, we just come to you right now and we pray for our leaders and we pray for our country. We pray for the defend of the guard. And we pray, Lord, that you're going to keep us in your safety and keep us under your wing as we go through these tumultuous times. Lord, we are faithful for you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
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 Thank you, Dino.
Yes, sir.
Larry,
George, you ready?
Yeah. Larry said something, and he said, "Don't be scared and hang over there." And I can add a little bit more on what Larry said, because if you see and if you read the news, they are saying that President Trump lost about $500 million from his businesses.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't have any chance or didn't think that, or he was thinking that it didn't work, he wasn't going to take this one. With that, even if you are a billionaire, $500 million is a big number to lose.
Yes.
So hang on over there. Things are going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Takes a little bit of work to fix something.
Yeah. I got to figure out how to not push a button while I scroll up the screen. Because I just pushed a button and I'm like, I didn't want to do that. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. My final thoughts as I sign here. See, that's not as pretty as Donald Trump.
Close.
Start working on that.
My final thought, Trump keeps winning. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, "Are you tired of winning yet?" A friend of mine, he's like, "You tired of winning yet?" And I said, no.
Nope.
No. And in fact, we need to make sure we do not take our foot off the gas. We need to keep pushing in and accelerating. And I believe that's what Donald Trump and his whole cabinet and the Freedom Caucus and a lot of the grassroots Americans get. But the rest of the people out there, we've got to endeavor to keep pushing forward with this freedom, because this is not, these people don't work for all of these years to destroy something and try to profit off that destruction and then just give up after 60 days plus of Trump coming in there. They fought tooth and nail to keep him out of office. We saw what Biden and that whole debacle brought about. And so we need to make sure that we're that much more vigilant. And I would say for us at the table and those out there in the audience, when you think about it, when the thought comes to you, that's the Lord reminding you. And you just, as Dean demonstrated, you just say a little prayer. Lord, we lift up our leaders. We speak wisdom over them. If anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously without finding fault. Well, I can ask on your behalf. Lord, give President Trump wisdom. Give our other leaders out there wisdom. I've been praying for a lot of people for quite a while. You know, there's times when all of a sudden Marjorie Taylor Greene or Rand Paul or any of these people, you know, these good leaders, Elon Musk or RFK Jr. or in any different sectors that they're in, okay, they pop into my mind. Whether I'm listening to a news thing or not, they pop in my mind. That's the Lord saying, pray for that person right now. Just take 10 seconds. Lord, I lift them up before you. I speak wisdom over them. I speak protection over them. I ask that you guide them and direct them by your Spirit. It's simple, just simple. And that's what we need to keep doing, because we are winning. We are taking back this country. We are making America great again, America healthy again. But the fight is far from over. It's just beginning. And if we don't stay vigilant, if we don't stay aware that the enemy of our souls is just looking for any simple opportunity to attack, then we will put ourselves in a vulnerable position that we don't need to be in. We don't have to be vulnerable. We can stay on the offensive, keep moving forward, and bask in this victory, this prosperity that God wants to bring to us. A true, I pray that you would prosper as your soul prospers, as John wrote in 1 John. So there's a dynamic there that we want to keep moving forward in what God has called us to do. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. Go to thealexjonesstore.com /this is my brain. Get some great products on there. If you guys are interested in a couple of things that I talked about with longevity, we still have a big connection with the Longevity products. We order those on a regular basis. I'm not into multi-level marketing, but I'm into great products, and that happens to be the model that they use. And if you become a member of it, doesn't mean that I'm getting a kickback and fire my boss. I am my boss. So there's that. But what you what does happen when you become a member of Longevity is you get a discount on the products that you buy for yourself. It's not like these other scams where you're gonna fire your boss. No. Listen, you want some good products? There are some models that they're underneath that, are what they are, and it cuts out a lot of the overhead and a lot of the advertising, the big conglomerate advertising, and that works for some of them. And either way, we want good products out there. But go to thealexjonesstore.com/this is my brain. Check out some products there, and that'll help benefit the show. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe. As Larry said at the beginning of the show, hit that thumbs up button. Appreciate all of you doing it there. Share the show if you can. Grab it. There's a button right on there. I can see it. Join, follow, thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't do the thumbs down. Go away. Repost, comments, and share. Click on the share button. It'll give you a link to the show. Throw it on your Facebook. Say, you know what? I really enjoyed these guys, and they didn't have a shit ton of computer glitches today like they've had in the past. We had a few things, but for the most part, we muddled through it. And we're going to continue. I'm going to figure out the bugs, and we're going to keep going. So listen, right here, running the show tonight. You got that beautiful table shot there, Larry, going on. You know who's running the show right now? Me and Larry. This right here. See that? I'm using that tablet to try to control the big computer over there. Larry's got his laptop with his buttons over there, and we're doing our best. And so we enjoy doing this. I do enjoy doing this. I do enjoy sitting down with my friends and having good discussion, talking about politics, talking about all sorts of stuff. But there's a little bit of work involved. And every once in a while, equipment doesn't want to cooperate. And I can't just take a fucking hammer to it like I'd like to.
Yeah, that would be expensive.
Yeah.
For that, I will catch you guys next time. Thank you to my co-host tonight. You guys are fucking awesome, and I appreciate you so much. With that, we're out.
This is my brain.
Dad, that's an egg.
Yeah, that's an egg.
Honey,
Dude.
that's an egg.
Seriously.
That's an egg.
It's a metaphor.
It's still an egg.
That's an egg.
I would challenge you.
That's an egg.
I know my brain is not actually an egg, okay? It's a metaphor.
Metaphor or not, that's not your brain.
It's just an egg.
Una cerveza para mí. My egg is my brain.
Can I at least have some bacon, maybe some sausage with that egg, though?
Oh, I want some bacon.
I want crepes.
Have some bacon and pancakes with that egg.
I'll take it with cheese.
Extra large brown cage-free eggs.
Can I have your brain with cakes?
So sausage and a little toasted potato.
That would be great.
Does it have antibiotics?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this shit.
Well, they got to be able to resist some diseases.
You resist the disease.
You got any hormones?
Maybe. It's cage free.
Vegetarian?
Maybe.
Are they vegan?
No, I eat steak.
Never apologize and never explain.
Never apologize.
Yeah.
Never apologize and never explain.
Small town in Alaska, there were three communities: Muslim, Christian Orthodox, and Christian Catholics.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And in the winter time, they have the worst time because it was cold. Nobody would come out of the